Raiders.
Raider Nation, what's happening this afternoon on a Sunday, May 3rd, 2026? Here I am, your host, Raiders First Downs, here with my partner, Donis Duncan, and you are watching Show Me the Shield. We're going to get after it tonight. As you can tell by the title, that we're going to be talking about everybody else's drafts, all of our enemies. We're going to cross over in enemy territory. So get in and buckle up, and here we go. Everyone thinks this team, our team, or their team crushed the draft. It's all over the NFL. You hear it more in Raider Nation, but I'm not buying it. Today I'm calling it straight, my folks, my friends, my fellow Warriors. Did anyone actually get better? What do you think about the Raiders? Are we just drinking the same off-season Kool-Aid we've been drinking for the last however many years you've been a Raider fan? Because on Show Me the Shield, when we come in, try not to deal with all the hype. We try and deal with the truth. Sometimes you might not agree with the truth. But here, we're really here to break it down. And today we're going to break it down in this division. I think the Raiders didn't just improve. I think they set the table for what's to come in the next couple of years. So for the next month, we have OTAs, mini camps. That's where the team bonding and practices are geared to prepare the team to practice. Yes, we're talking about practice. Because of all sports, football has a more direct impact based on practice. It's the habits you develop, the attitude, the information retention. These are all keys to preparing for a grinding football season. Are the Raiders there yet? Are they really building? Or are they just really running the same movie script with just new actors? Who knows? But we're about to find out. If you have it and you believe in it, then show me your shield. Let's go, Duncan.
Raider Nation! Stop scrolling. The silver and black conversation starts right here. Hot takes, real fans, no filters. This is the show where Raider Nation speaks. So crank it up! And show me your shield!
And I guess in the simplest words I can say, if you don't like that, then you just don't like Raider football. Raiders First Downs here. Donuts Duncan to my side. Duncan, what's happening, Captain? Or Professor, I should say.
Yeah. Not much. I mean, started the moving process this weekend, so a little tired. Never get enough done that you want because you want to get it done as fast as possible, but
yeah,
it is what it is. We're here on a Sunday, ready to talk some more football, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And I can tell you one thing, Jack's always early here and often. He's excited to watch, listen, and comment away. Always appreciate him stopping by.
Salute, Jack. Thanks for coming in, brother.
Everyone else, go ahead and hit those comments. What do you think about the Raiders draft? What do you think about the rest of the AFC West?
Yeah,
how are we looking?
Get those. We got that coming. There's going to be some people in here that are going to be, they're going to be a little bit perturbed about it, what they actually see, and didn't realize what happened while we were so focused on our own draft. Kind of, some of us forgot. I'm one of them to pay attention to what the other teams are doing.
Well, heck, we had 10 picks this draft going into it, and we ended with 10 picks, even though they're in a different order than what we started. I mean, it's very easy to not realize what was going on around the Raiders or outside of the Raiders organization.
Yeah. So I don't know about you, but your mic is kind of lowering down again. I don't know if does mine sound like it's going low as well. Just kind of bring it a little closer to you and we'll see.
Yeah. No, yours is sounding good. We'll try this out. How's that going?
That's fine. And if you got it all the way in camera view, I don't care. Nobody else really cares.
Yeah.
So we talked about this last weekend, and then we'll kind of brush up on a little bit, kind of get us going here. Is how are you really feeling about the draft right now after you've had the time to digest it and everything? How are you really feeling about the draft?
I'm thinking it's a really solid draft. I mean, we got our future quarterback. Hopefully he'll be our quarterback for the next 10, 15, maybe even 20 years. Who knows? So obviously that's the easy check mark there. But then after, it seemed like they really had the goal in mind to get after the quarterback and buy time for the defensive line to get to the quarterback. And they really invested in the defensive backs, which was definitely the most shallow area on our roster. So I think it was a very solid draft. And then I loved it in the 4th round. We got Jermod McCoy. I mean, that's the easiest gamble I'd ever take in my lifetime. Like somebody with his talent in the 4th round. I don't care what the injury is. I'm going to take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Risk versus reward, right?
Yeah. It's a 4th round pick.
It's a 4th round pick. 4th rounders get cut all the time.
Yeah. And then just on top of that, like you said, the 4th rounders get cut all the time. How many 4th rounders are actually super successful in the NFL or even make the roster?
Yeah. Yeah. This guy's got a cut. He's got a little cut in him to where when we talk about, he had first round grade on him and a high first round grade, not just the maybe a high first, low second. This guy was, when you start talking about cornerbacks and talented cornerbacks, he was right up there with some of the best of them in the last few years.
Yeah. Even in this same draft, the Chiefs traded up for a cornerback who is debatably worse than the guy we got in the 4th round.
Right.
Like that's how good McCoy is. Like that's how important that pick is.
Yeah. 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 It's there's some things about our draft that impressed me that was like, as the draft was going, I was not happy, but as it started to click a little bit and then the total understanding as a whole is and all preseason, all pre-draft talk, I never really once heard content creators or YouTubers or any of the like really come out and say, our secondary is the biggest weakness.
Yeah.
In all honesty, if you think about it, our secondary is the biggest weakness that we've thrown pennies out to try and get huge return on investment with.
Yeah.
We've never really done that. Let's do a core investment in our secondary. Let's just, and it's a lot of franchises have gone out and drafted 2 people in the secondary in the same draft and totally turn the table on the direction of that franchise. Historically, I'm going to dig deep back into everything. Eric Wright and Ronnie Lott, perfect example for the 49ers. That a lot of people don't. I myself, if you think about it, would say that was probably just as important as Joe Montana and Dwight Clark in that phase of the 49ers.
Yeah, and they were a stellar duo.
And it was glaringly obvious during the regular season. Glaringly obvious during the regular season how they played.
Well, I mean, I would like to give some credit to where it's due about people saying that the secondary was an issue. Darkside OB, he personally said that the secondary was a glaring issue.
Mm-hmm.
And myself, I kept hinting at it too. And then even in the Discord, I was consistently doing mock drafts where I'm taking 3 defensive backs in the mocks every single time. I didn't know if the Raiders were going to be that as aggressive as they were. And here they were more aggressive at going after the DBs than I was. To me, the safety position was a glaring need because we had no depth whatsoever and we didn't have a true free safety.
Right.
You can argue we still don't have a true free safety, but what we did gain is we gained a bunch of guys that can play multiple roles, which is going to keep offensive off balance. So we may not need that true free safety.
Yeah.
And then we got 2 very good cornerbacks that play the ball extremely well. And people do not sleep on Hezekiah Masses. He is a very, very good cornerback. And if he ends up being our number 3 cornerback, that is a great player to have there.
No.
JP Raider came in with the chat, says, I believe most of us understood that our defensive secondary was a glaring issue. Yeah.
I did too. Don't get me wrong. I did too. But I also, with everything else that was without, offensive line, wide receiver.
Everybody wanting a true nose tackle. Like that was the biggest thing, was everybody pounding the table.
I was sold out on that as well. I was like, we need a nose tackle. And now that I think about it, how they address the draft and what we already have on the roster, it remains to be seen if it's successful. But I kind of, in a roundabout way, Tonka Hemingway, Adam Butler, JJ Pegues, they can feel that zero technique satisfactorily. But I was looking at it from, let's get that Pro Bowl nose tackle, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, we were able to do this, and this with the secondary. And it's like, now it makes sense. Makes sense.
I also think with John Spytek is he does not like wasted investments. Mm-hmm. And you got to look at our roster across the board at multiple positions. We have multiple draft picks pushed into positions where, because of last season, we don't know where we're at. We don't know what our receiver room is. We don't know what our offensive line is because of how terribly coached they were. And they've played, 3 different offensive systems within the 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. Between the prior year with AP and then when they fired their coordinator and got the new coordinator, they completely changed their run scheme. So then they learned a completely different run scheme on the run in the middle of the season. And then they go back to a inside zone scheme with Chip Kelly. Like, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And they're being taught by guys that don't know the offensive line as much as they should, as being offensive line coaches.
Yep.
So, huge question mark there. And then we have 4 third-round picks now invested in the offensive line between JPJ, Rogers, Trey Zune now, and Grant. Mm-hmm. And then we have JPJ was a 2nd-round pick. My apologies. The 3rd-round pick was our right tackle in Glaze.
Yeah. So
within those 2 drafts, we had these 3 drafts, we now have 5 third-round picks or higher invested in the offensive line.
Yeah. So in a roundabout way, with Spytek, and kudos to Telesco as well. I think Telesco in the 1 year he was here, he didn't hurt us in the draft. If anything, he helped us. Kind of sad that he didn't get to stick around to reap the fruits of his beginnings, but it is what it is. No salt on him. That's the way it was, and then we go a different direction. I get it. But with Spytek, I can see that I can see the direction. I can see how his thinking is, and how he executed his ideas. Now it's just a matter of his ideas coming to light and doing what they're supposed to do. And I know there's some people out there in Raider Nation that say, I just don't see it. I don't understand it. Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know how to, even if I was able to take my beer goggles off for just a second and look and see that there was consistency with the ideas. And you got to understand, it's not Duncan's draft, it's not my draft, it's Spytek's draft, and we can all sit as fans and pound the table who we want, but ultimately they're the ones that are getting paid millions of dollars to make those decisions. And as a fan, I just want to see something in September that I can look at and go, okay, I'm proud to be a Raider fan now again. I will always be prideful in my team. I will always love my team, no matter what. I've said it many times. If they picked up and moved to another country, I would still be a Raider fan. It's just the way we were brought up, and you just believe in your team no matter what. But
as far as understanding the draft, I think the easiest way I've found for myself to think about it is Spytek came out and said that he wanted to make sure we had a strength in this team. Like 100% surefire, that's your strength in the team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our offense has way too many question marks to even think of trying to make that the strength. Where our defense has a lot less question marks, and they brought in a lot of run defensive strength then between the linebackers and Kwity Paye they brought in, and then we already had Max Crosby. Well, that just left our secondary being the weak point on that defense as far as the passing game goes.
Mm-hmm.
So they went and fully invested in that. They're trying to make that the strength in the team, buy them time to figure out what they got in the offense. And I won't be surprised if next year we go maybe 1 or 2 high picks with defense and then just heavily load up the offense because now we have an idea where they're at.
Yeah. But at the top of the draft, we're going to have to next year, most definitely next year, we have to go weapon heavy. We got to get weapons at the top. And it's like, whatever it is, if it's a wide receiver, if it's a, I don't want to say edge rusher, even if we're sitting at a position and we got this absolute 4.5-star, 5-star left tackle on our board we're going to be picking anywhere from 8 to 13 next year is where we're probably going to be picking next year.
Yeah.
If we just ascend, like I think we're going to ascend with what we've done so far, which isn't huge, right? As far as total numbers, wins and losses, it isn't huge, but it is something. And like I stated last night on Raider Nation Voices, I'm not looking at the win and loss total as a barometer of success. I'm looking at what I see, right? Because what we saw last year was an atrocity. It was an abortion. It was horrible. I just want better than what we saw last year. I just want to be able to watch all 4 quarters of the game. That's what we want. And so, having said that, do I think if we put the whole package together, Duncan, from hiring the coaches to execution of free agency to execution of the draft, is it perfect? No draft is ever perfect. No free agency is ever perfect. And no coaching staff is ever perfect. But by God, at least this one smells like it's going in somewhat of the same direction and nobody pulling away from it.
Yeah. Definitely looks like we have a sense of direction. And then like bringing in the younger coaching staff, like it shows that they really want to build into the future and create a consistent program throughout the years.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the biggest thing. And one of the chats last night, a lot of people, they're doing the comparison of, well, the New England Patriots turned it around in 1 year. The Washington Redskins turned it around in 1 year. Okay. Let's see what they do next year. Let's see what they do the year after. Let's see what they do the year after. The Patriots are already in a quandary in the offseason with all this hoopla with their head coach. And you guys being Raider fans out there in Raiderland know crap like that has a tendency to derail a potentially good season.
Well, our coach gets fired for stuff like that.
Yeah. John Gruden would have got fired for something like that. Yeah. But Vrabel is, you know what? Just take the weekend off and go to a retreat, rehab, and tell everybody you're sorry and kumbaya, and come back and we'll get back after it, okay? Because that's the Patriot way, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Kraft set the example on the hug and rubs, right? So I guess it's suitable for their franchise, And like I said, no coach is perfect. Don't expect him to be, but at the same time, let's not pull red handles and push emergency buttons this soon when all we're doing is just building. This is just building. Is all it is. And you kind of have to be excited that you're building.
Yeah.
But
I want to give a salute to Willie Wayne. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for coming in, brother.
Appreciate it.
Shout out to you. If any of you guys in here, if you haven't subscribed yet, up in the corner of the screen is a URL code. That URL code, if you scan that, will take you directly to Donuts Duncan's YouTube page and hit subscribe to his channel. And let's get our numbers up. Last week, shout out, we had a phenomenal show.
Yep.
And I know this weekend we're having some. From what I understand, there's some YouTube stuff going on or whatever, some algorithm type stuff. I don't know. I know our show last night numbers. It was a great show. If you go back and watch it, it was a phenomenal show. Very, very relaxed, not stressful. Because I think a lot of times we get into this and it gets a little stressful, a little heated, and he left. He should be back, but we got a guest that's coming on. Been on our show before. More than welcome to come on anytime. One of our fellow Discord, Darkside OB. He will be coming on here shortly. He was in the green room and now he disappeared, and hopefully he comes back. You want to shoot him a text to see if he's coming back? What the deal is?
Do that. Do you want to move on to our next talking point?
Oh, here he comes.
Yeah.
So, none other than Darkside OB. He's at the bottom. We're on the top. I don't know how that worked. It's a random thing.
Yeah. What's going on, y'all?
But
What's up?
the best looking out of all three of us just showed up. Thanks for coming, Darkside, man. Brother, what's happening? Long time no speak, my friend.
I know, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
What's good with you?
Doing good. Hey, we kind of been glazing over and glossing over some of the stuff, and it just in a roundabout way, not really nitpicking specific, but just the overall, like the attitude of what our draft was like. And I know a lot of us were doing mock drafts. I did a couple towards the end. I'm not going to lie. When I got closer to draft, I kind of said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple mock drafts just to kind of see what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still, obvious number one pick, and then the second round, it just kept Cade McDonald. Then when the actual draft happened and we're at 36 and he's on the board, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Right where I thought. And then we trade back to Stooks.
Yeah.
And
You called it too. I seen that show you was on. You called it.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said you called that. I seen that show you was on where you called it, the trade down.
Yeah. I had a gut feeling we were going to trade back, and Houston we just had such a good relationship with Houston last year. And I'm almost 100% sure. Now I'm not, this isn't me. I don't have any insight. I don't know anybody in the building. I used to know one of the assistant equipment managers 15 years ago, but he doesn't work for him no more. But other than that, it's like, okay, knowing what I know and being around this team as long as I have and judging by Spy Tech, I knew at that 36 spot, if he can gain a little extra draft capital, because it's a little sweet spot for him. And you go back to Tampa Bay, the same thing. Is high in the second round, doesn't hurt to go back a little bit in the second round, pick up some extra picks, right? Because you can get some really good picks just moving back 4 or 5 spots.
Right.
And I'm sure his cluster of players that he had on his board when 36 came around, 3 or 4 of his dream picks were still there. So by him going back to 38 was a no-brainer. I'm going to get extra picks in the back end. I'm still going to get the guy I want. What say you there, Mr. OB?
No, I liked it. Because like you said, it was a plethora of guys right there that you could choose from. So if you can pick up more assets and still get a guy that you like, that's good business to me.
Yeah.
And then it says a lot that they didn't get a D tackle early. It says a lot about the defensive tackle room that they already have in house that they like them. You know what I'm saying? So, I know a lot of people was wanting D tackles. Like you said, Cade McDonald, Christian Miller. I was hearing him, and then Lee Hunter had some buzz early on. Not really late, but early on in the draft process, he had some buzz for everybody. But again, it just says a lot. It just says a lot about, you know what I'm saying, what they believe in-house, what's already in-house. And I respect it, you know what I'm saying? And we needed secondary help.
Definitely.
We needed secondary help. So
yeah.
I like it.
Goes back to one of the shows that we did with you earlier this year where we were talking about how not stacked, but how loaded up our defensive line room is. It's not like we have like great players there, but we have a plethora of guys that are legitimate NFL players.
Right.
You don't just push those guys out the building just because
you
want to go for a rookie that's could possibly be a great pick.
The same thing we were saying. Same thing we were saying about the wide receiver room too. Like I know everybody wide receivers is a sexy pick, but you got to realize last year they drafted 2 guys. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get to see them 100%. They wasn't, you know what I'm saying, unhealthy. You just didn't see them on the field. You know what I'm saying, to be able to evaluate them. You still had a vet and Trey Tucker, and then you still got Jalen Naylor. You know what I'm saying? So that's 4 guys. And then if you bring in a rookie in the second round, like you're gonna have to. I mean, you would want to feed him. You know what I'm saying? Get him touches, but you just drafted somebody last year in the second round, and Jack Bish. Yeah. So there'd be 2 guys back to back that you drafted in the second round, and you still got those other 3 that you're gonna have to. I mean, you don't have to technically, but you're gonna want to have. You know what I'm saying? Get them the ball too. So
yeah, and then the same thing could be said about the O-line too. Before you showed up, I was mentioning how we drafted 5 players within the second and third rounds in these last 3 drafts. Like you're not going to go out and just heavily draft offensive line to push all those guys out. Like it's just not going to happen. And it really seems like Spytek really does not like wasting investment. He wants to see everything you got out of that player before he pulls the trigger to move on.
And I love it. I respect it. I really do. That's great business to me. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, if you see the product, you know what I'm saying. If you see the product, I don't want to talk about humans as product, but essentially it's the business. So if you see the product and it's not producing, it's not giving you any kind of value, move on from it. You know what I'm saying? But if you see some type of potential, you just see, okay, I need to change the environment a little bit, and maybe their potential will be, you know what I'm saying, it'll actually, the ceiling will raise a little. Then you do that, right? Whether that's being a wide receiver coach, offense coordinator, in our case, head coach and offense coordinator, you know what I'm saying, and quarterback. So it's just a lot. It was a lot to be. It was a lot of the meat still left on the bone.
Yeah, definitely.
I think a lot of people too as well when they start assessing our passing attack, our passing game, and they're so focused on the wide receiver group in and of itself, they miss one key component in our passing game. And we have probably the most dangerous weapon in the NFL in our passing game, and that's Brock Bowers. So it kind of, if you build your passing game off of a pyramid, he's at the top.
Yeah.
And then you just block down as you go down. It just, the pyramid kind of comes down a little bit. Now, I would love to have a receiver to be at the top and have him at the second level, one of the 2 blocks at the second level of the pyramid. But right now, as it speaks, and there's nothing to be ashamed of, you know, it's who I mean, Kansas City is the same. They function the same way. Everyone, you know, you saw it with Tyreek Hill, made it that much better. But when he left, it kind of brought it down. Now it's that whole passing game has to go through Kelsey, and it does, and they still are successful. So it doesn't.
And the funny thing about the KC is like they don't even have a run game. Like they legit are a passing offense. Like they don't. But think about Clint Kubiak. He's gonna want to run the ball 50% of the time, if not more. Right. Yeah. So that's gonna take that. I mean, again, I would want a dominant wide receiver, but it's gonna be hard to have a dominant wide receiver, a dominant tight end, a great running back, a running game. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah.
Just in my opinion.
It worked out perfectly in Seattle with having that one top end weapon and in Jigba, and then consistently going to the run game.
Right. And then Cooper Kupp was just okay, you do what you got to do. We're going to give you the ball when we can. When we have to, you pick up first downs here and there. Make it, you know what I'm saying? I hate saying it, but like the gritty first downs, gritty catches, do what you got to do to get the ball, you know what I'm saying? Get extra yards.
Yeah. Before we move down our schedule, Arnie Garz already coming in with a question. Appreciate you coming in, Arnie. Our last podcast, you had a bunch of great questions, and we appreciate them.
Starting off on fire already.
Yeah. Question is, do you believe Spytek went rogue after the Genty pick last draft? Is that why Carroll didn't play the rookies all season when the season was lost? Going into this draft, I would say no. But after watching how Spytek handled this year's draft, I could see Spytek leaning towards his guys. Because originally, I think we were all saying Thornton and Porter were definitely Pete Carroll picks. Porter made sense, that big, physically gifted cornerback. Like that has Pete Carroll written all over it. After this draft, it's like, okay, Spytek's definitely taken out of the Tampa Bay playbook when it comes to drafting and really focusing on that RAS and draft position. And then on top of it, his own personal opinion on drafting players with great attitudes. So that's one theory I could see being possible. I don't think he went rogue. I think him and Carroll kind of had an agreement on some players through the draft, and then Spytek on some of the picks probably strong-armed it and probably allowed Carroll to have a couple of picks of his own. But we'll never know. And Spytek has consistently owned up to last year's draft, so I'm just going to go with what Spytek says and let it be.
What do you think, Darkside?
I agree. I agree with everything Duncan just said. I mean, I don't know if y'all can. I didn't like the Thornton. I didn't really like the Porter pick last year either. I mean, to me, I just felt like it was better options on the table. But again, like I'll be talking in Discord, I'm not really a fan of taller corners. I like around six, even taller skill players, receiver and corner. I want you to be around 6 foot. Once you get around 6'3", 6'4", that athleticism has to be like top tier for you to actually, you know what I'm saying, be a factor. And that's very rare. I know everybody like the Sauce Gardner and the other boy Tariq Woolen in Seattle, but those guys get dominated all the time by the shifty guys. You know what I'm saying? Like speed wise, they there, but they grab a lot. They get a lot of penalties. I know I'm getting off on a tangent, but my preference is the 6 foot range. And to answer the question, yeah, I think this year's draft resembles that. Getting athletes that can play multiple spots. Right, which last year it was get guys to fit the specific scheme.
Yeah, having that versatility as a player is huge. It's just that, you know, even like, and we'll talk about it later as we get into some of the other ones. Originally, we were going to come in here and I want to actually talk about other people's drafts. So while we're on this tangent just a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up, this is going to be ours compared to, we'll start with the Denver Donkeys. Okay. As you can see here, now you have their draft is a C+. Okay. And having said that, you can tell they had a round 3 pick, 2 round 4 picks, a round 5 pick, and 3 round 7 picks. So they didn't have a whole lot of meat going into the draft, which I think they if I'm not mistaken, they traded some of their assets to get veteran in trades and trade up last year and with whatnot. I'm not too particular on exactly how they did it, but if you look at the Denver Broncos and how they drafted, not too impressed with what they did. It doesn't scare me what they did.
Yeah, to me, they went after depth because they are a very top-end talented team. They already have their stars in place. They just needed those filler players to help fill in those gaps just in case they need them. I will say, though, for me, the tight end that they got in round 5, Justin Jolly, he does fit that Joker role that Sean Payton always talks about in his offense that he thinks is super important. He can actually fill that role compared to the players that they didn't have.
Yeah.
Who made this graphic? That's dope.
This, wow, my chat GTP helped me with it.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope. I like that. I mean, I like Dunn said, I mean, you know, I mean, I know some guys on this list, Tyler Onyedem and Jonah Coleman, Cage Gacy, like Justin Jolie, because I like CJ Bailey out of North Carolina State. I really like him as a quarterback. Dolan Bentley and Red Murdoch, he was Mr. Irrelevant, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they just got guys that can if they stars go down or if they beating somebody or losing real bad, they can come in and get some reps. I mean, that's really what it is.
Not the only one that
I would add their first. I would add their first round pick in there too. They traded for Waddle. So I mean,
okay, so that's their first round. Now that it makes sense, I totally. That's why I was saying I wasn't quite sure where they give up some of their draft capital to go with, but it kind of makes sense now that that number one pick for Waddle. That's a good investment. I mean, not going to argue that. Not going to argue that whatsoever. But yeah. So looking at we kind of took a glance at the chart at the Broncos. Not too worried about what they did in the draft, but yet at the same time, it's their free agency, and then they're bringing back what they had. I don't think they lost any of their key players to free agency. So it remains to be seen exactly that. We all say the Broncos were just an ankle injury away from probably being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out as well, because we played the Broncos last year and they dominated us, even though the scoreboard doesn't show it. I mean, they dominated us. They were in victory formation with 4 minutes to go. Just like
hold on. I've been watching. I rewatched that game. I rewatched the Chargers, both Chargers game, both Broncos games, and we lost, but most of that was on Geno, man.
Yeah.
Well, especially that first Chargers game.
Oh my God,
we were in that game.
But we ain't gonna get on that though. But
he was scoring.
I rewatched some games like 5 times, man. It's like
I'm gonna fire some people. I'm gonna fire some people up when I say this too. That first Chargers game, you go back and look. Genty left a lot of yards on the table. Not just the holding penalty that was called back. There was other ones out there that he had open space and it was blocked up perfect, and he left it. Perfect example is in the second quarter. They finally started to run power toss to the strong side, to the field side. They ran power toss to the field side. It was blocked up beautifully.
Yeah.
Stay high, get to the numbers, angle out, and get upfield. No, as soon as he got to the numbers, he turned upfield and went right straight to the pursuit. And I was like, oh my God, he could have beat the pursuit at the second level. He could have beat this pursuit at the second level. And if I'm not mistaken, it was like 4 minutes and 24 seconds or 4 minutes and 44 seconds in the second quarter. I've watched that play over and over and over again. And it's like 4 minutes and 34 seconds, somewhere in there, that they do run power toss to the right. And if you hit stop, even though it's not the coach's view or whatever, it's the television view, you hit stop, make it big, and look, you will see that the tight end has the second level blocked out, cornerback is blocked up, the edge is covered tight, the second level is chipped, not completely covered, but he had a perfect, it was one of those, if Bo Jackson was running that ball, he would still be running.
Yeah.
But
let's hit up the chat real quick before we get too far behind. JP Raider, one of our buddies from the Discord, saying, I'm sure the coaches aren't worried about how much someone gets fed. If there's an opportunity to upgrade a position, you take it. I mean, absolutely. If you got that 100% home run pick in the draft and it's going to make your team better, you got to take it sometimes, or rather always. But also, we're not in the draft room, so it's not up to us who's the home run pick or not. And then not sure how we're supposed to say this, but I'm going to say
Querick,
yeah. The receiver room do have to oppose a threat, or there's no running game to be had like last year. Yeah, there's a balance to it. Teams didn't have to sell out to stop our run, though. They were able to stop it with their basic fronts, and that's the biggest issue we had. So they were able to focus a lot on shutting down the pass and take advantage of Geno Smith staring down receivers.
And it was a shotgun 95% of the time. But.
Yeah. And Arnie Garza came in with 2 questions. I want to try to answer these real quick. Which position group most worries are due to starters and depth in position? There's an argument for receiver just because of the question mark. There's an argument for offensive line because of how terrible they've been the past couple of years, whether that's due to talent or coaching. And then I would say D-line because we don't have that top end talent in the D line outside of Max Crosby.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Me myself, when it comes to the depth, that worries me the most, as specifically depth, is going to be the linebacker position.
Yeah,
we got two really good. We got two phenomenal starters. Don't get me wrong, but if they go down, that's a huge drop off.
Yeah,
from what we have.
Yeah, I agree. I would say D tackle as far as both. For both, I would say D tackle. I like John Lualu. I like the guys we have, but as far as like star talent, it's not there.
Yeah, we have the depth at D tackle, but we don't have the star talent.
No.
Then Arnie Garza's second question is: can Tokyo Toe beat out Matt Gay, or a long shot, or no chance in hell?
Chance.
I think there's a chance. The problem is Tokyo Toe does not have a recorded long range of kicks in his college career. But to be fair, Matt Gay is not a power kicker either, but he already has that experience of playing in NFL games where their stakes are high. Even though he's not the greatest, our last kicker was better. I don't know.
Are you accurate from 45 yards and in?
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Be consistent around 45, 50, and then you good.
You're good.
60 and 70 is like that is good, you know. I would want it, but as long as you can make 45, 50 range at like a 95% hit mark, then that's good. 90, 95.
Yeah.
And then JP Raider added on to what JD was saying. Genty wasn't seeing holes quick enough last season at times. And also, to be fair, that could be a lack of confidence in the blocking too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like a quarterback, you're pulling that ball quicker than you need to because of how games usually are flowing.
No.
You create bad habits with bad blocking.
Yeah. You're starting to look at stuff that's not there, and you start seeing those ghosts like Sam Darnold.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, too, with Genty, he's going to have to change his running style a little bit more in the NFL than what he did at Boise State. And that's when I say Boise State, that's key, right? Yeah. Because he wasn't at Oklahoma, he wasn't at Alabama running those yards. He was at Boise State. And I'm not knocking it. The kid is good. I like Genty.
He's just no longer easily the best player on the field anymore.
On Mike Washington Jr. Don't close your eyes. And Mike Washington he's coming in fresh. He only had 167 carries last year. That's not a lot of carries for a number one back in college, especially at Arkansas. And Arkansas was a horrible football team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Genty was like top 3 in targets for running backs. Or is it targets the right word? But
receiving,
whatever. It's like receiving and rushing attempts. Touches. There you go. I knew it started with T, but he was like top 3 in touches last season.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be good to get him, you know what I'm saying, off that top mark and more around the 15-20 range, and have Mike Washington as a legit athlete to come spell him. And I also like Roman Hemi too.
Yeah. I like Roman too. I like Keelan better, but Roman was good.
I mean, for UDFA, Hemby's pretty dang good.
Yeah, that is true. It's kind of shocked me that he got to UDFA. I figured somebody would at least throw a 7th round pick at him just to keep him from going UDFA.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's because he's what, 25. Same thing with that Chase Roberts guy. They'll be 25 this year.
All right, so let's dive into the Chiefs a little bit here. Bring them up. This is the Chiefs draft board. You guys got anything you want to add to that?
I hate to say it, man, but I like the Chiefs draft.
Me too.
I mean, the only one that's questionable is Cyrus Allen. And that's in the 5th
round. Yeah.
I mean, that's the only questionable pick. But you got Mansour Delane, who I love. I thought he was the number 1 corner in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Woods, I'm a fan of Peter Woods if he's slim. I mean, if he gains weight. I don't like slim Peter Woods. I like chunky Peter Woods.
Yeah.
R. Mason Thomas. I know one of
Love
y'all.
that
I think it was Duncan.
Love
Was you, Jason?
Yeah.
One of y'all
was
love
Jason,
R. Mason
yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah, he's a baller. He's a
Yeah.
football guy. Nut.
Right. Kennedy, he's versatile. He can play corners and he can play safety.
Yeah.
Emmett Johnson reminds me of Darian Sproles. I don't know if y'all remember him.
Uh-huh.
He reminds me of Sproles. So yeah, I mean, and Garrett Nussmeier, he was a number one pick, like a first round pick last year. So
yeah, I'm a huge Garrett Nussmeier fan. Huge. I loved him the year before. Last year, I had high hopes for him too. I was like, man, that guy's gonna be good. He was everything that you thought. Everything that everybody says about Ty Simpson today is what I was thinking and seeing the year before with him. Coach's son, pro ready, runs a lot of RPO. Okay, but that's college. Okay, I don't care. We can argue till we're blue in the face. That's just college. That's just what they do in college. They do a lot of that in college. But you start to look at him like with his he's good with his progressions. But that injury, that core injury, and then I just found out that it was related to a cyst.
Yeah.
And
on a spine or near a spine.
Right. And it's not, I guess it's not removable.
It's too close to the spine. It makes it dangerous.
Yeah. So that's probably why he went 249 and not 4 in the draft. You know what I mean?
Real quick, James Furpo stopping by. Should I hit it for him?
James? Yeah, go ahead and give him one.
Raiders.
We're gonna label that one on the soundboard, James Furpo. But all in all, overall view of the Chiefs is, I would give them an A. I think they kind of reached for Mansour Delane. I think they would have still been there at number 10. I think that they were picking 9. I think so. They moved up 3 spots to get him. But if anybody was paying attention to the draft, there was a lot of rumblings and people that were doing some shenanigans with other GMs that people were like, I'm not going to wait till 9 for him to fall to us. I'm going to go get him. Yeah. That in and of itself, that type of aggression is key to being a legitimate general manager. Good GMs will say if they identify somebody on their board that it's an absolute that they got to get that guy. I'm going to go up and get him. And that's what they did. That's what Les Snead did. He just said, hey, we're going.
Yeah. To me, the Chiefs draft kind of matches ours in the sense where they really wanted to get better against the pass. Right. Mansour Delane's a ball hawk. He plays the ball so well in both a man and zone coverage scheme, so he's going to be able to mix and match no matter what coverage they're in. Peter Woods is a very good pass rushing D tackle. And R. Mason Thomas, he's an animal off that edge. He's very similar to the guy that the Broncos have, who I believe was the sack leader last year.
Nick Benito.
Yeah, Benito. Just a smaller, super athletic, can really get after the quarterback if he's not taken care of quickly off that snap of the ball, which just also so happens to be our right tackle's biggest weakness in DJ Glaze.
Yeah.
So that may be a scary player we need to watch out for if Glaze ends up winning that right tackle spot.
Yeah.
And then Kennedy, I was hearing from Chiefs YouTubers because I did a little bit of research on how the other divisional opponents were thinking. It seems like they believe Kennedy is going to be their slot guy.
I think so too. They lost both of their starting corners, so they had to get legitimate corners.
Yeah, but you also don't let both corners go unless you have at least one answer on your roster already. So I imagine they have a guy that they like on the roster already who's going to be a starter, and then obviously Delane's going to be the other one. And that's why I think Kennedy's probably going to be a day one starter at the slot position. But yeah, they definitely aggressively tried to get better against the pass in their draft.
So we got Money Chuck coming in. Money Chuck, hot always. Great take. Salute to you, Money Chuck. I live in Boise and went to most of Genty's games. He's always looked like the best player on the field. He always played good teams, and this bullshit about the Mountain West can't produce a good player is bullshit. I just so we're clear, money check. I totally agree with you. But what I'm saying is the game in, game out, going against the type of competition over and over and over again is different in the Mountain West than it is in the SEC. It is. You can't. There's no debate in that.
Yeah.
He was good, and if I was to be a betting man, and I took him out of Boise and took him to Mississippi State or Ole Miss or Alabama, he would still be a 1,500 to 1,900 yard rusher on those teams. It wouldn't be 2,600 yards like in the Mountain West, because there's a lot. He's going to get 300 yards against San Jose State. He's going to get 300 yards against those teams. But those 300-yard games that he would get against those teams, he would get 150 against Texas A&M, or 130 against Georgia, or 110 against Georgia. Still really good games. I mean, he had 105 against Penn State. Granted, it was 30 carries. He was still productive in that game. He was the only one in that game against Penn State that was freaking doing anything. I felt sorry for him in that game because nobody else was stepping up.
Yeah, that's what you got to look at too when you look at that Boise State team. He was literally the only person on the offensive side of the ball. Because look at them this year; they didn't do anything.
Yeah. James Furpo's back to work. Salute, brother. Have a good rest of your shift. Hopefully, it goes by fast. Queric saying when Genty got loose, it relatively looked easy. Yeah, and then there was times last year where he did the same thing, where he got loose and he got yards quickly.
Yep.
I think it just took him like half a season. Yeah, I think it just took him half a season to get acclimated to the speed and the power and all that stuff.
Well, it probably also took
throw a little tidbit in there as well with Genty that I think was the biggest hindrance of him was the fact when he established momentum in the running game, they took it away from him. The coaching staff took it away from him.
Yeah.
Just because he had 3 carries for 9 yards, that third carry, I would turn around and hand him the freaking ball again because that third carry showed me something. But they would go, oh, he's only got 9 yards on 3 carries. And then by halftime, it's like he has 6 carries at halftime.
Yeah.
Really?
There was it 2 or 3 games last year where in the first half it looked like he finally started to get going, and then he touched the ball maybe 2 more times after that. The rest of the game.
Yeah.
And,
the score was starting to get out of control. Bullshit! You were down by 7 points. Give him the freaking ball.
Yeah. Not giving him the ball and then getting your defense back out there right away is what got you out of the game.
Yep. So don't. And when I heard that, I was like, "Well, the score was starting to kind of get away from us." And no.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna talk about this, but that's why I'm so excited about having Clint Kubiak, man. Like a legitimate play calling and stuff, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna be so refreshing.
Just having a coach not willing to drop the run game is going to be great. Even if the run game's not working at all the whole game, just the fact that he's going to keep going at it just to keep the defense honest, like that's huge. Yeah. That's going to keep the passing game alive because he's not willing to let go of the run game.
Right.
I'm also interested too. This is I'm going to dedicate this take to Money Check. Is I'm looking forward to Genty taking a handoff from the quarterback from under center.
Yeah.
That's going to change that kid's trajectory as well.
Yeah.
Look out for that shit because because it's one of those deals is like, okay, I got to build my momentum to get to the quarterback, to get to the ball, to get to the second level instead of standing being in his Michael Myers pose and having to wait for the ball to be snapped and then handed to him. It's like now when the ball's snapped, I'm going to be going forward. I'm going to be going lateral. I'm going to be going at my 45-degree angle now. Now I get to establish the real men attitude from the while the quarterback's coming out of center.
Yeah, not only that, and also having a top 3 center.
Oh yeah,
a top 3 center and top 2 center.
He's the second best in the NFL. I put Creed Humphrey ahead of him.
Yeah, and then having not having what's the guy 65 last year, having him and freaking Will Putnam.
No Kappa, no Putnam. We do still have Meredith, and Meredith is a serviceable guard. He's not not a center.
He's good depth. He's good depth.
Yeah, but he's a serviceable guard.
we have 5 legitimate people competing for both guard spots right now.
Yeah.
Like that, it's completely changed compared to last year. And we have an actual offensive line coach. So that guard competition for this offseason has me very excited. Legit. Yeah. JP Raiders saying we're going to need a big year from the run game. Bowers will be doubled and triple teamed. No receiver one. Yeah, that's true. But also we got to see how Kubiak schemes up the pass game, because they legitimately only had Njigba in the passing game last year, and Njigba was consistently being moved around their offensive formations and being motioned open. Like, Kubiak knows how to get his guys open. So I expect Bowers to be doing a lot of that Njigba stuff where he's motioning around, lining up in the backfield, motioning out wide, going completely opposite of the formation where he started at. Like, he's going to be moved around and be fed the ball. Yeah. So I expect his touchdowns to be about the same or maybe 1 or 2 more than last season. And I also expect him to have about the same receiving yards as he did his rookie season. So meaning he'll have his best season to date.
Combined. Take his rookie year and last year and combine the two.
Rosetown coming in. Salute Rosetown. Appreciate your support.
So, yeah, as far as Genty, my target for him is going to be 95 receptions, 1,200 yards, and 11. Bowers. Bowers is in that 1,100 to 1,200 yard range, 12 to 13 touchdowns for him.
Yeah.
And that's a sweet spot for him going into the third year, because next year we're going to pay him. We're going to have to pay him. And that's the best way to do it, is for him to do that. He needs to go into this year's knowing this year's his contract year. Yeah. That's where he's going to get that money. I
think he's going to get paid anyway.
Yeah, he will.
As long as he don't get hurt.
Yep.
Knock on wood.
So we talked about the Chiefs, and I know we kind of got off topic what the show was supposed to be about, and I think people coming in wanted to, but we're going to talk about the Chargers now. And what the Chargers did. We talked about the Broncos. We covered the Broncos. We covered the Chiefs. Now let's talk about the Chargers. And let's look at the Chargers. And their overall grade is a B+. But what do you guys think?
Personally, I think the Chargers drafting for their team had the best draft out of the whole AFC West, personally. They went and got much needed help with a stud edge and Akeem Mesidor. He may be older, but he's very, very good at the edge. He can play both the run and the pass. He's not going to get tripped up. And then they went and got players that fill roles that absolutely devastated them last year. Their O-line was a complete mess that whole last season because they had so many injuries. So they went and invested in a top-end center or guard possibly for their team, and Jake Slaughter, who I know Jason, you and myself both liked him all throughout college last year.
Yep.
The guy is a very good old-school get-after-you kind of guard or center. Brennan Thompson, he was the one player that their new offensive coordinator requested. He said, no matter what, if you can find a way, get this guy. That's who I want. And they got him in the 4th round. And then they went and got Travis Burke, who is a very big, very athletic dude who needs some time to be taught how to play tackle in NFL. But they have 2 really good tackles. So they're setting themselves up to replace one of them and also help fill in for injuries. And then at the end of their draft, they went and got more bodies to go compete at their guard positions because their interior O-line was their glaring weakness if you don't count the injuries. So they went and took care of the positions they needed that really prevented them from being successful last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I agree.
Darkside, hit it, man. What you got?
I like the first 2 picks. Not really I know of the other guy. I know of the other guys. I agree with everything Duncan said. My favorite picks that they had was the first 2, Akeem Mesidor and Jake Slaughter. Other
guys
than
know
that,
what I thought about Akeem Mezdor.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, it's like,
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, he scares me more than Khalil Mack does right now.
Well,
Right now.
also, Mesidor probably will be lining up against our right tackle more often than not. So that is another thing that we got to worry about.
Yeah, he's a natural right side rusher, though. If you watch him in Miami, his tape on the right side of the defense against their left tackle and their left guard on a double dip or inside stunts and whatnot, and his athleticism, especially like on a tight end DN stunt, right, a tackle stunt, is you see he times it so perfect that the guard has no way to react to it, and he's just coming up the middle so quick. And you guys have seen it, and I pointed it out to other people, is you go watch a Miami game because everybody's looking for Reuben Baines. Damn, number 3. Who's this number 3 that keeps popping up? Because it seems like he's like you go back and look at historically at our team with Howie Long, and granted, Howie Long is my favorite player of all time, but a lot of his came from what Greg Townsend was doing, because Greg Townsend would dirty a pocket up quicker than anybody.
Yeah. No, Mesidor is definitely going to be a solid piece for him, at least for the 3 years he plays, because he's so old. No, he's a solid player, and it sucks that he ended up being picked up in the AFC West, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm just glad they didn't get Tyler Warren the year before. When they didn't get Tyler Warren the year before, I was like, whew, thank God, because that was the one guy I was like, we don't want him going up against us. That dude's real.
Yeah, and that's one thing that their head coach, I don't know why I'm spacing on his name right now, but Jim Harbaugh, he's always been able to get everything out of his tight ends.
Yeah, which amazed me. I thought they would go after him from Penn State, Tyler Warren from Penn State. I thought they definitely, but like, hey, they kind of know what they're doing over in Changer Land. So I'm going to, speaking of changers, a little housekeeping here for our audience. Those of you that are here spending your Sunday afternoon with us, wherever you may be, thank you so much for joining us. Raiders Show Me the Shield. I'm JD, Raiders First Downs. My partner to the left of me is Donuts Duncan, and you can wave at the crowd. Donuts Duncan. Up in that corner of the show is a QR code. If you want to scan that and go to his channel and subscribe to his channel, we'd really appreciate it. Our guest at the bottom is Darkside OB from our chat. Our Discord chat, super knowledgeable guy, has history of playing college football, is real knowledgeable of the college game, brings a lot of insight. He brought some insight to me that even I didn't know. And it's been a blessing to be his friend and have him come on the show. And like I told him, anytime he wants to come on the show, he is more than welcome to come on this show. But I threw a poll up there. Which AFC West team got better in the draft? Push 1 for Denver Donkeys, 2 for Kansas City Chiefs, 3 from Los Angeles Changers, or 4 for your Silver and Black Raiders.
Yeah, so even though I said I think the Chargers had the best draft for their roster now, I think their draft was really for a win now. I do think the Raiders still had the best draft overall because we had so many holes, it's kind of hard to not improve. And we had such a big hole in the secondary that they really attacked it and got better there for sure. So overall, the Raiders did get better. I just like the Chargers draft for them more, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Question for you, Darkside. Based on our draft and other people's drafts, because the other 3 guys in our conference had a good draft. I'm going to take away from Denver a little bit as far as the college draft, that they didn't have as much input or much impact in the draft, but they still had off-season impact. But if you were to take all 4 teams, put them together, and we're at the bottom, do you think we closed ground on the other 3 teams with what we did?
100%. You talking about the moves that we made and the moves that they made this offseason? Do I think that we closed the gap from being number 4 in the AFC West? That's what you're asking.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Okay. And again, it goes back to, I think last year was just a facade. I don't think we were as bad as our record showed. I mean, our record was our record, but I still think we had some decent talent and we had veterans on the team that we shouldn't have been a 3-win team last year.
Yeah.
We were legitimately, again, I watched just about every game over and over and over. We were legitimately in every single game except for like 3 or 4. The
Eagles
Colts
game, the first Chiefs game, the Eagles game, the Colts game,
and it was one more.
Commanders.
The Commanders game. Yeah.
So like the rest of the games, it was like lost in like the third quarter, and it was lost because of Geno, offense and the offense. It wasn't on defense because the first Chargers game, Geno had 4 turnovers. He had 3 turnovers, and I think we fumbled one time. Somebody fumbled or something.
Two of his interceptions. One was at the beginning of the game, and one was at the first play of the halftime too.
Right, and we were still in the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Well, and then you had the Bears game also where he threw 3 interceptions, and we were going for the game-winning kick that got blocked.
Yep.
Right. The Jags game, well, we lost that one, but we barely lost it because of Walker Little made a 70-yard field goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we almost beat a sleepwalking Texans team too.
You know what I'm saying? No. So I don't think yes, to answer your question, yes, we did. We did. Not even counting Fernando Mendoza. I'm counting Kirk Cousins. I'm counting Clint Kubiak. I'm counting new offensive line coach. I'm counting Tyler Linderbaum. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Naylor. I like Jalen Naylor.
Yeah.
I can keep going.
And I think Jalen Naylor, because when Jalen Naylor got his opportunities without Justin Jefferson and Madison,
he produced.
It's just when you're the third wide receiver in a loaded wide receiver room, it's just like let's take a trip down memory lane for some of you guys maybe old enough to the early 2000s. We had Jerry Rice and Tim Brown, 2 Hall of Famers. Who was the third wide receiver?
Porter.
He produced. When he got his opportunities, he produced. The sad part about it, he's pulled the Scottie Pippen on us. When he became the number 1, he didn't produce. So one of those, and then we had the core injury that he went and got his own opinion and not the team's opinion, and pissed off the team because back then during the CBA you weren't supposed to do that. You were supposed to go off of the team's medical advice, not your own. And well, he went and got his own and pissed him off, and so the end was coming. And then I think he went to Jacksonville after that and didn't really do much. But then again, Jacksonville right about then was worse than us. So, but anyways, poll's still up. I'm gonna hide the poll for a minute, just so we can have the whole screen to ourselves and everybody's got our names up underneath. Once again, salute to all you guys that are in there. Arnie coming in with another hot one. Better depth at every position, but will the new offense or defense struggle at first? Duncan.
For me, it's 50-50 on the defense. I think they could come out and really tear people up at first until they kind of slowly figure out that puzzle there. Offense, I think they're going to struggle. Even the Seahawks last year with the talent that they had, and their offense did look better at the start of last year than ours does this year. They still struggled a bit and took a while to get going. And then even at the end of the season, they still had hiccups. So I think the offense will definitely be the one struggling at first.
Yeah. And
hopefully our defense does play a lot better than ours did last year, where they can actually get themselves off the field.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Darkside?
Yeah. I think same. I mean, it's you just look at the history of the NFL. Defense is going to start off better than the offense. The offense is going to take a while. I feel like they're going to lean on the run game a lot. So it just depends on how quick the offensive line can come together. I think that's really going to be the key thing. how quick can they come together and open holes for Genty and the running game? And if that's working, then the play action should work. But I think it's just going to take 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, also, I think our offensive line is going to look hands down better than it was last year just because of the coaching. I think that's going to eliminate a lot of their sluggishness. Like I know we, or at least me personally, talk about Glaze having concrete feet, but being a very stout tackle at that right side. A lot of the issues with that offensive line last year was them having to overthink everything just because they weren't prepared.
Right.
And that's way worse than having concrete feet in itself as a offensive lineman.
Yeah, if you already got slow feet and you had a hesitation to it, you're just going to get your ass kicked.
Yeah, recipe for disaster.
Yep.
Yeah, and I do still think Glaze can be a very good right tackle, but just his biggest weakness being speed rushers, and then having to do all that stuff last year with the lack of coaching, like it really put him in a very, very bad position.
Yeah.
And then Arnie Garza with another question: which player on offense and defense is our breakout players this year?
Hey, you got some good questions for you.
Yeah,
Arnie comes in hot, man. Arnie's hot.
Breakout player on offense. Who do you guys think?
I'll say on offense. I'm gonna say Tucker. Trey Tucker. I'm a fan of Trey Tucker. Defense. I'll say John Blualu.
Okay, Jason.
Well, I might make some people happy with what I pick, but when I say what I'm gonna say, it might piss them off again. But my breakout offensive player is gonna be Genty with a but, and that but is Mike Washington is gonna push him for some foul time. Okay, because I really truly think Mike Washington has the capability to be an RB1 in certain situations, not all the time, but in certain situations against certain teams. He may be that guy. He may be the go-to guy in the offense.
Yeah,
just be prepared. Don't sit there and we can argue all you want. It's happened in the past with several good running back duos throughout the history of the NFL, where the second back actually has a little bit better of a game, and it's going to be a game-to-game situation. It's not going to be a totality of the year. So everybody wants to, you don't know. No, I'm telling you, it happens. It does happen. And that kid, Mike Washington, the knock on Mike Washington is two things. One, initial reads, he struggles with his initial read to get up to the hole. But when he gets up to and in the hole to the second level, he's extremely dangerous. He has a top end speed faster than Genty. Not knocking Genty. Genty's fast. This kid is faster in fourth gear, which means when he gets in the open, a 60-yard touchdown is going to happen a hell of a lot faster with him than it will with Genty. But Genty is going to be the meat and the potatoes of the offense. And I'm not contradicting myself. People say, no, I'm not contradicting myself. You have to look at the totality of it. There were games with you guys Raider fans. I'll use this as an example because you guys will understand it. McFadden and Bush. There were games where Michael Bush was hot and better than what McFadden was.
Yeah.
So he eventually was getting the RB1 love throughout the game. It's not a knock on McFadden. He's still our he's still our superstar running back. So my breakout player for this year is going to be Genty because of what we've done on the offensive line, adding Rick Dennison. That right there in and of itself, Rick Dennison, is going to be huge in what that kid can do.
Yeah. Defensive breakout player, Jason.
My defensive breakout player this year is probably going to be a guy that wasn't on our team last year. That's going to be Nakobe Dean. That's going to be the breakout player. And the reason why I'm picking Nakobe Dean is because I really, truly envision him having a healthier career with the Raiders than he did with Philadelphia. So he's going to be available more to us with his, number one, his football acumen and his athleticism and how he plays the position. So I'm going to pick him as the breakout, even though he wasn't on our team last year. But he's going to break out. I think he's going to do for us better than what he was doing with Philadelphia.
Yeah. Just real quick on your Genty versus Mike Washington, what you're saying. I think a good way of putting it is Genty's the better football player, but Mike Washington is the better scheme fit.
Situationally.
Well, just Mike Washington naturally fits an outside zone running scheme better than Genty does. So I think you're going to have that give and take between those two players in this offense because of what our scheme is. As far as breakout players for offense for me, I'm going to go with Brock Bowers. I know it seems like it's the easy choice just because he already has that star power. But I think the way I'm imagining he's going to be used is going to be not too different than Njigba was last year for the Seahawks. I think teams know Bowers is our number one weapon on offense, and they're going to do everything to stop him. And you're going to hear the commentators throughout the season saying, they're going to throw the ball to Bowers. You got to stop the guy. Why can't they stop this guy? And I think it's going to be the discussion throughout the whole season. Bowers is going to have a breakout year, even though he already kind of technically broke out as a rookie.
Yeah. That makes it hard. That's a good pick, but it makes it hard to call it a breakout because I don't know how much more you could break out with him. But getting to the chat real quick, what long run did Genty get hawked down in the NFL? The Chicago run that he still had to do some muscling late down the field. Wasn't so much he got caught from behind. And now you got to remember, too, even Bo Jackson got caught from behind. So it can happen to anybody. If it can happen to Bo, it can happen to anybody. So I'm not going to get lost in that realm. What I'm saying is in the open field, if Mike Washington and Genty had a foot race, Mike Washington will win the foot race 9 out of 10 times. Full stop. Now, getting to JP Raider, he also fumbles a lot. Absolutely. 10 fumbles in 3 years, and he carries the ball. That's lost fumbles, right?
Who you talking
about? Washington.
Okay.
He does get a little lazy in his toting of the rock as he's starting to get downfield, and blindside tacklers and people out of his view have a tendency to get a good punch on him and good hits on him to jar that ball loose.
Yeah, he runs straight up.
Yeah, he runs a little upright. And but those are some things that are correctable. I'm going to take you back historically again in our franchise because it seems to be easier to use our guys. As Marcus Allen was a fumbling machine when he came to us from USC, and it took a couple of years for him to get over that. He still put the ball on the ground quite a bit of times. So
yeah.
But anyway,
also getting back to what Queric was asking, T Severe was saying Biard hawked him down.
Byard,
yeah.
Tomato.
Who's your defensive guy though?
My defensive guy is, if he's able to be 100% healthy, is Jermond McCoy. If he's not healthy, then I'm going to stick at cornerback and say Darian Porter.
Okay.
I don't hate it.
Personally, I know some people have knocks on Porter from last year. They think he can't be an NFL quarterback. I saw the opposite. I saw flashes to where he could be a great NFL cornerback.
Yeah.
Now, it's the thing with Porter is he needs to be able to consistently be at that level. It pretty much every single game he started last year, he ended up having to warm up at is how I'm going to put it. He started out slow, really struggled. Polamalu saved him quite a few times early in the games, but as the second quarter came around and then throughout the rest of the game, Porter really stuck in there and ended up taking over his side of the field. It seemed like. So I think Porter has it in him to be a very, very good, if not great, cornerback in the NFL. He definitely has the tangibles. Jamal McCoy, way better of a cornerback than Porter is, simply because of snap count. McCoy is way more of an experienced cornerback than Porter is. and he's just as athletic and has a natural instinct to get after that football, whether it's for batting balls down or getting interceptions.
Yep.
Bush Raider, salute. Well, nice seeing you in here.
What's up, Bush Raider?
Bowers will be the number one weapon, but Tucker also will have a breakout year. I
I'm
think
open.
Tucker is going to have another similar season to last year, where he might have a couple of games where he looks really good, because I think Naylor takes away from him.
No, I think Tucker's gonna be the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I just I mean, I just feel like Tucker's being not overshadowed, was overlooked. I feel like he's been overlooked.
I'm going to ask you this, Darkside,
What's up?
because this is my personal opinion with Tucker. I don't think the previous two coaching regimes knew how to use him.
Well,
I know last year they tried to get him to force him the ball in sweeps and screens, but to really get him to break that middle of the field or cross the field with like opposite rollouts, and he's doing a skinny post or a post or crosser,
right?
And coming backside of the play. I never really saw that, and that's where, especially in a man like a single high or man coverage, is where he's deadly.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to kill the over outs. He's going to be the over out king this year.
Well, personally, I think Tucker needs to move to the slot, because I think he could dominate as a slot, because where he is overlooked is his route running. He's a very clean route runner, and he's got quite a few routes in his repertoire. It's just him constantly being pushed to the outside and being an over top guy takes away from his ability.
Yeah. My biggest knock on him, and then I'm going to get off of the subject, because I think he can be everything that we expected out of Henry Ruggs, as far as that guy that could break the top of the defense apart. My only knock on him is he doesn't catch the ball clean. That's my only knock. It's like his catches, a lot of his catches aren't in sync with his feet and aren't in sync with the receiving the ball. And you see a lot of initially it's like he's trying to catch with his hands, but not his finger. He's not using his fingertips, more like the palm of his hand. and the balls aren't being caught cleanly. The year before, not last year, but the year before, I think he set the NFL record for instant replays because of his inability to catch the ball clean.
So the year that you're talking about, after that year, he got LASIK eye surgery.
Okay.
Which was
Okay.
Which was Antonio Pierce's first year. So he went into Antonio Pierce's year with LASIK eye surgery, but then you got Luke Getz as offense coordinator.
Yeah.
And then last year he had Brennan Carroll.
Yeah. And last year he was good. I thought he was good. I don't think he got enough run. But then again, nobody else did. I think that offense was predetermined. Every play was predetermined, and that was just going to be the way it was going to be.
You knew what was going. You knew what was coming.
Yeah.
In the offense.
Not to ignore you, Bush Raider, because you are bringing up valid points. But it's not just Tucker, though. You got to look at when it comes to that offense. You got to look at the whole offense as a whole. Every single player that's been there for multiple years, they've gone through, 5 or 6 play callers in the last 3 years.
That's ridiculous.
They've gone through 4 offensive line coaches in the past 3 years. The offense as a whole is a complete mess, and none of those players on that roster have been set up for success. So, unfortunately for everyone there, even the vets like Miller, going to once again start the slates, wipe the slate clean, start fresh, and see how they perform in this offense. And hopefully we finally have that coach that's going to stick around for multiple years to where, okay, now we can start deciding what players are good and what players are bad in the system we have. Mm-hmm. And then we can start seeing how we need to improve in the future drafts and free agencies. So this year is going to be a definite starting point on what the future of the success the Raiders are going to have is. Also, God Family Raiders for Life, salute.
Thank Raiders for Life, salute. Yeah, so absent Tucker, also too coming in, Naylor's going to have a little bit of relationship with Kirk Cousins as well for their days in Minnesota, so that's going to be a bonus to kind of jump. I'm looking where I'm going with this now is the jump start of the offense and how it's going. I don't think they're going to be stuck. They're not going to be slow and responsive to this season as in years past. I think this year's offense is going to be a little bit more advanced as far as might not be top. Okay. I'm not saying that, but they're going to be a little bit more advanced. But I am going to go out there and I'm going to strike a chord with my chat right now with the prediction. And my two partners here on the desk with me, I want to hear this. I want to hear an absolute honest opinion when I make this prediction. And I'm not one for predictions, but it's just come to me. We're going to score more than 30 freaking points more than once this year. What do you say?
More than once, I say yeah.
Yeah, I say more than once. Yeah.
What about the chat? You think we'll score more than 30 points in one game? We didn't even score 30 points at all last year. 29 was the highest we got.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
So if we can score 30 points, say 3 or 4 games, that in and of itself is a huge improvement over this year.
Yeah.
Huge. Absolutely huge. And then if we can hover in that 24 to 27 point range, game in and game out, guys, then we got something to look forward to going into 2027. But for 2026, it's just improvement. We need improvement.
Yeah.
But I'm standing on my prediction. We'll rehash this later in the season, but I'm standing by my prediction. Darkside, you got anything?
I think 2026 is establishing a baseline, setting the baseline. This is our bottom. We're never going to be below this. I think that's what 2026 is.
Yeah. Got family Raiders for life. 100% scoring will be night and day from last year. Hopefully night and day from the last 3-4 seasons.
Yeah, we'll go back to John Gruden's last year when he got fired. That offense had some semblance to it.
But, well, even then, what was it? Our average points scored per game was like mid-20s.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, it's just gone down. Because I think the next year it was like 20. And then the following year when McDumas got fired, it was at 19. And then the following year, AP's full season as the head coach, it was like high 18s. And then last year was in the 16s. Like, we cannot score points. It's atrocious.
That's been our Achilles heel, scoring points.
Also, while you guys say whether or not we can get more than one 30-point game, I did miss a question from Arnie Garza. Question: so far, what is Spytek's best move, and what was his worst move? His worst move, in my opinion, I'm going to put as a whole the free agency class the previous offseason, where we let way too many good players walk.
Yeah.
And he admitted to that too.
Yeah. The other worst decision was trading back twice and really big jumps in trade backs in the previous draft, also in the second round. As far as best moves, I think he learned his lessons from the previous offseason, attacked free agency with a plan in mind, brought in great pieces, and then also was able to finagle around in the draft and trade back and get picks like he wanted to, but didn't do it as willy-nilly. Like, he only jumped back 2 spots this year in the second round. Still got a player that he wanted, that he was high in his draft, and jumped up, even though it was only 1 pick in the 4th round, to go get McCoy to ensure we had him in the 4th round. Like, I think he played his cards a lot better this year.
Yeah.
I think the way he managed his moves is his best move, if that makes sense.
What about you, Darkside?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say because last year I give him I don't give 100% pass for last year, but I give him a pass because I think Pete Carroll was actually running the show as like the 73-year-old, you know what I'm saying, been there, done that type of guy. Spytek's his first year, so he's, you know what I'm saying, just watching and learning. So I didn't think he had full reins last year, but I agree with what Duncan said. I didn't like us letting Timo go and then bringing in and Spill. I like Robert Spillane too, and then bringing in Landon Roberts and Devin White. Like, I did not like those moves, like, at all.
No.
The best move I would say, the best move I'd say Judge Spytek did was fire and keep Pete Carroll.
Yeah. Or hire Kubiak.
Yeah.
Hiring Kubiak, yeah.
So
Jason.
mine with this best move Spytek's made since he's been a GM is, and I'm going to go to this year's free agency, and he immediately addressed Lindenbaum, Walker, and Dean. Just those 3 picks right there. That's 1A. 1B is the coaching staff with Janoko and Kubiak, and I hate the guy, but he's a Raider now, as Rick Dennison. That in and of itself makes a huge difference of what we're going to see this year. And I will take claim to that fact.
I'm new to this. Why do you hate Rick Dennison?
So back in the late 90s, when I had season tickets to the Raider games, I myself always like to go into the stadium an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff. Go get my seat, get a beer, sit down in my seat, and watch pregame, right? And usually when I get there is when the specialties are out there, the kickers and the punters and the return guys and things like that, because that's the time that they allow the home team and visiting team will split the field 60 yards instead of 50 yards for warm-ups. And so the kickers and the punters can kick from the 40 on the other side. And the Raiders came out, and it was their turn, and there were some balls and stuff. And Rick Dennison's down. He was a special teams coach for the Broncos at the time, and he was grabbing the balls and throwing the balls away. So the Raiders had to chase down their own balls so they can warm up. And he was chippy. And then you go back and you watch him on the sideline when he was with the Broncos with Mike Shanahan. He was always next to Mike Shanahan, and he was always the one that was like kind of chirpy, you know.
Oh, I like that.
But yeah, but
even
I don't like it.
even on the opposing team, I still like. I respect it. Like, those are the guys I seek out. Yeah, I like you. I'm gonna come at you. You're the one I want.
Well, here's my take on when the footballs and stuff were being thrown was right about that time was the first. I think that was the first or second year of Gruden. That when that started happening, then all of a sudden they were just punting. They were just punting balls at or into Denver while they were warming up. So it was like there was some. I never heard a loud cheer during freaking warm-ups, but it was pretty fun. But he was chirpy, and he was the enemy, dude. He was the opponent. He's a Mike Shanahan guy, and we all know that Mike Shanahan was not one of our favorites after he left the Raiders and went back to the Broncos. And he made it known that he was an anti-Raider guy, and his coaching staff was anti-Raider. So that was one of those deals. And now we get the Kubiak and we get the Dennison on our team. And it's just like when we got Andre Rison. And Andre Rison, when he showed up, he was on an airplane coming back, and there was one of our Raider fans, one of our hardcore Raider fans, looked over at him and said, "You know what? I freaking hated you. I hated you, but you're a Raider now." And that was right after we had signed him. He was flying to Oakland to sign his contract and sign it and check in with the Raiders. So that's just my little quirk with my best. The worst move, I think, with him. I'm going to go with so Darkside brought up a good point about last year's draft, but I'm going to add a little tidbit to it I'm going to give him a pass on as well. Is that when he got hired and went into the evaluation portion as the GM last year with Pete Carroll, right? Now Pete Carroll gets hired. They go into the evaluation process. He doesn't have his evaluation team in place. He has to use what's already existing. So he doesn't give him a chance to do his full take on where we're going with everything. Because Tampa Bay didn't let him take his evaluation notes with him, his scouting notes with him. He had to start all over. And, it's like you get into You walk into the kitchen and there's nothing in there. You got to go to the store and get your ingredients to start making dinners.
Right. And I'm gonna say this right quick, just because it just last year after the draft, I think Spottek is known for saying giving thanks to everybody, right? The all the scouts, all the, you know what I'm saying, everybody that had a hand in draft day. You know what I'm saying? Like he does that. And then this year he had Brandon Yergin and Brandon Hunt. I think his name is Brandon Hunt. Brandon Yergin and Brandon Hunt. He had them do it. I feel like that in and of itself speaks volumes on the type of leader he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's some quiet things that you don't really notice. You get it? You get what I'm saying? Like, I respect that. Yeah. When was the last time we had something like that?
And Brandon Hunt came with a really good. He comes from the Roseman tree, the front office,
right?
And he's sharp as all get up, man. When we got him, that woke some people up. I mean, and we didn't get him until right before training camp last year. So it's not like he was in the building during our evaluation process. We hired him as a pro player, the director of pro player, right about training camp. So his only input that he had was maybe some of the cuts from other teams he had to input in and things like that. But as overall, the standard of what he sets, this year is the first year. This is the year that you need to grade that front office on. Don't grade them on last year. Last year's a pass. Last year's they're just basically getting down, getting a cup of coffee and sitting down, and that's it. This year is where the rubber is going to meet the road, and that's where we're going to evaluate more, or we should evaluate more. But Duncan, you want to plow through? I got Arnie Garza up here with break out his Naylor and Stukes.
Yeah,
we want to roll through the chat here. 17 of you guys in here watching us. Keep in tune.
Yeah. Raiders for Life said when the head coach doesn't have to check in with his senior living staff every 30 minutes, it'll make a world of difference. Absolutely. Tanner Jack coming in. Salute. Nice seeing you in here.
Thanks, man. Had a good conversation with you last night. Welcome back in, brother.
And Money Chuck wanted to answer that question himself. His opinion was Spytek's best move was taking accountability for his mistakes. Yeah, I love that. Just shows the classic character Spytek has.
That's a fire take right there.
One of the worst mistakes was not getting O-line help earlier in the draft or in the free agency in 2025. I absolutely agree. Jason and I had our eyes set on the second round last year on Tate Rutledge. And when we traded back the second time and he got picked literally before us, Jason and I were both pretty upset about that. But I also was pounding the table consistently in the Discord that last year was the year to go after free agent linemen. And we didn't when we knew we needed that interior O-line help, and we came away with Kappa. So it kind of set the tone for how our offensive line was going to be last year. And then that was without even knowing the issues we were going to have in the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Queric and T-Severe are going back and forth on the definition of getting hawked.
It's hilarious too.
I'm not going to highlight it, but if you guys want to go check it out, I believe it's in Jason's chat.
Yeah, he got in the end zone, but he still got hawked. Whether he scored wasn't the question he had. Yeah, sometimes we got to be a little. Yeah, that's one of the things that. For those of you guys that are in here new to this channel, on Saturday nights when we have Raider Nation Voices, if for some reason you think your chat isn't being interpreted the right way, call in, tell us what your take is, man. And then that way there's no questions. It's coming straight off your tongue. So you don't have to worry about this and trying to interpret what's being said, because a lot of times I say stuff and people misinterpret it. I'm like, where does that come from? You know what I mean? Where does that come from? I don't understand.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm not chiming in on when Genty got caught is because I cannot remember the specific game and who caught him when it happened. But I do remember there was a play where he had a breakout, and it seemed like he was gone, and he got caught. And I believe it was around the 20-yard line going into the end zone.
It was like 35-ish, but it was just a great angle. Like it was a deep safety, and it was a great angle. It was on the outside zone to the left. It was a great play, great read by everybody, and it was just the safety had a great angle. I want to call it getting halt. I call getting halt the DK Metcalf catch and Buda Baker. That's getting halt to me.
Yeah. That's a highlight reel when you have somebody making a tackle at the 2-yard line.
Yeah, that's
just the sheer amount of effort and distance that he has to travel and catch up to the guy because there's no angle. It's just pure catching up to him.
Right.
Yeah,
that's my definition of getting hawked.
Yeah.
If you have an angle on me, like I think Champ Bailey did the same thing to somebody, like that's getting hawked because he had to come from the other side, and that that's an angle, but we're starting at the same point. But in this case, Genty was here and he was like here. So it was just, what I'm saying, meet me at this point. Right. Like that's not getting out to me.
One of I remember the Bo Jackson, he got pulled down from behind against the Bengals on about an 86-yard run, and he got caught at the 2-yard line. And you never thought Bo Jackson would ever get caught from behind. But he thought he had outrun somebody so bad, he stuck it in third gear and was going to cruise to the end zone. It wasn't so much it was that. But one of the most famous hawks was Champ Bailey interception, and Watson for the Patriots caught him.
That's what I'm thinking about. That's the one I'm thinking about.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I was like, "Who that?
Yeah,
that dude can run."
Desmond Watson, he was tight end, freak athlete. Yeah,
great basketball player. Great basketball.
That's what I'm thinking about.
So we had.
I had a question I was going to ask y'all. I can't remember now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember now. It'll come back to me.
Right. Bueno stopping by. Salute, Bueno.
Oh, Bueno. Salute. Hey, just for you guys that are tapping in, we already got a mindset of who the Hall of Fame chatter is so far. We select one of the best chatters at the end of our show to kind of give kudos to you. One person is already tapped in and is in the front line. There's a second guy that's neck and neck with him, I think we can say. But the game ain't over. So if you got it, bring it.
Yeah. Definitely Money Chuck and Arnie Garza.
I wasn't going to name names. I was going to let it
do. They're definitely in the front running, but I almost want to give the trophy to Severe and Quirik and the united effort to get there.
Yeah. But at this point, the cat has been left out of the bag. Arnie Garza and Money Chuck right now are in the running. We will cast our vote at the end of the show, so stay tuned. So you guys know who the chatters were. And if you can go back, Duncan, and find the Primo chat that we starred, and we'll bring that one up. Yeah, T. Severe. Ben Watson was a dog. He was. Yeah.
And bringing up the DK Metcalf when he caught the Arizona DB again. Yeah. That's just freak athleticism, being able to catch a guy like that. When there's no angle, you're just purely effort catching him. What were you gonna say, OB?
Did you remember?
No, bro, I got memory loss. Go ahead.
Too many questions.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up the poll again because we didn't get people to answer. But out of the AFC West, who do you in the chat think had the best draft in improving their team? Who made their team better? Press 1 for Denver Donkeys, 2 for the Queefs, 3 for the Changers, and then 4 for the Raiders. Just put the number, and then if you have a comment about it that you want to add, go ahead and add it after.
Yeah, don't add the comment with your vote, because then your vote won't register. So it's just 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it will register right away. And then if you got a comment after that, throw the comment in there. We'll be more than happy to read that comment to you. We're an hour and 45 minutes into the show. We got upwards 22 people in here watching, more or less. A lot of people tapping, not a lot of new people tapping in. I'm Not Bueno is in here. I'm pretty sure he canceled Rorschach's subscription to the show, so he can come in live on his own. Bueno, salute to you, my friend. Hey, T. Severe is on the radar, though.
Yeah.
So you guys know, he's on the radar.
Definitely no bias, Bueno. I will say, if you missed it earlier, I did think the Chargers had the best draft for their team needs specifically. But as far as improving the team overall, the Raiders definitely had the best draft. Plus, it kind of helps that we had the team that was easiest to improve through the draft.
I was just going to say we had more rungs on the ladder to climb than everybody else. So
yeah.
All 3 teams climbed the ladder. We just had more rungs, and whether or not we've caught up to them, that remains to be seen. I'm hoping and praying the foundation is there, and then we can just start adding to it as we go along. Because this is a process. If a lot of people out there are expecting us to be a playoff or championship contender team this year, stop with that. It's not. If it happens, it's a fluke, and I ain't even going to be impressed with it. To be quite honest with you.
Quite frankly, I just want to be competitive in the division, which technically we were last year. Just the record didn't show it because we were in almost every single game except for that first Chiefs game. And then maybe the second Chargers game, there's an argument to be had that we were never in it, but that was for last year's discussion. As far as this year, got to remember Mahomes probably isn't playing the first half of the season, if at all. Still waiting on news from that on whether Mahomes will be able to play or not, or if he wants to play this year or not, or however the team decides to handle that. And then obviously the Broncos and the Chargers are definitely trying to be contenders for the Super Bowl this year. Broncos were one ankle injury away, and Chargers were just devastated with their offensive line injuries throughout last year, and that was their biggest need, and they went and solved that in this draft. Yeah. And also with a free agent pickup too, because they went and got a new center.
Yeah. So Darkside, you want to debrief our chatters with what your take is with all that?
What's that? The draft?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Severe just said it. The Chiefs had the best draft on pure talent. We went over that earlier. The Chiefs hit early and late. I think only guy I didn't like for them is the guy from Texas A&M, I believe, or somewhere around there. Cyrus Jones, I think his name.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati wide receiver. But everything else, I think they had 6 picks, and they hit on every single one but one. No. And thinking about it, the Kansas City Chiefs getting the best corner. Kansas City Chiefs getting the one of the best defensive tackles, right, in the draft. Also getting
one of the best pure edge rushers.
Right, one of the best pure edge rushers, like speed, pure edge rushers, and also getting a slot corner that can also be versatile and play safety. I agree with what Severe said, but I mean, we said that earlier, but yeah, you're 100% correct on that. But as far as like getting better, the Raiders actually got better. Aside from Mendoza, getting secondary help, getting Trey Zoom, who I think is going to compete for a guard spot.
Oh, hey, high five there. Could I get a high five from you there, Duncan?
Yeah.
No high five.
Wrong hand there, Jason.
Turn it the
other way.
Turn it the other way. There you go.
Yeah. No, I was on Trey Zoom the whole offseason.
Yeah,
I know I talked OB's ear off on that one.
Yeah.
Every single mock I did, I had Trey Zoom on it.
The Chargers was okay to me. I mean, I know they fit their needs. I don't like the Alex Harkey, and I think it was another guy they got late that I didn't really care for. But I'm not really a big John Harbaugh fan. I think he's very overrated, in my opinion. I think he relies on his coordinators a lot.
Yeah, which I mean, if you're a good head coach does rely on their coordinators though. So
he doesn't contribute. He's known to me. I had this argument with one of my buddies. He's known as a quarterback guru,
right?
But
the team last year was led by their defense. Jesse Minter was the Los Angeles Chargers last year.
Yeah. Well, he's known as a quarterback guru because he was the coach for Andrew Luck in college.
And anybody could have been Andrew Luck's quarterback. He was the number 1 overall prospect coming out of high school.
Yeah.
He just happened to go to Stanford.
And then they also want to give credit for having success with Colin Kaepernick.
Kaepernick. But again, that was a run game and one of the best defenses. Again, in Michigan, he had J.J. McCarthy. He didn't do anything with J.J. It was a run game with Blake Corum, and they had one of the better defenses with Jesse Minter. But again, that's just me being me. I'm not really a big fan of Jim. Jim or John, whichever one.
I'm not arguing it. I will say the only thing about Jim Harbaugh that I think is a positive for him is he tends to be usually a good rah-rah guy, locker room guy.
Oh, yeah, 100%, yeah.
Then you also had the situation with the 49ers where he absolutely lost that locker room and couldn't come back from it, which is why he got fired from there.
Right.
So he kind of skates that fine line on being a great head coach just because is a good rah-rah guy, and then also he
Yeah.
does have offensive knowledge and overall football knowledge.
Yeah. I'm not saying he doesn't have any. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is for him to be like specifically an offensive guy, what do you contribute to the offensive side? Like that's just I don't see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not his scheme that he's running. It was I can't remember the guy's name that he brought from San Francisco and then brought him back to the fucking Chargers. And then he got fired this year. I can't remember his name, but that guy.
Oh, Greg Roman.
Greg Roman, that's his name.
Yeah.
Like, why do you not just have your own system? And now you got Mike McDonald. Like, come on, man, Mike McDaniel. Like, what are you doing? It's like him and his brother is the same guy. Because his brother doesn't do anything either. If his brother doesn't have a great coordinator, he's not going to do anything.
Yeah. Salute, Jeff. Thank you for stopping by.
What's up, Skipper? Checking in on the troops, making sure we're doing our job for the company.
Yeah.
Somebody put in the chat, wouldn't it be better to have a poll of who had the worst draft out of the four? So here we go. Which team had the worst draft? The Donkeys, the Chefs, the Changers, or the Raiders? Push 1 for Donkeys, 2 for Chefs, 3 for Changers, 4 for Raiders. Let's see if we can get 10 people to vote because only 6 people voted on the last one. So the more you vote, the better it hits, and we get rocking and a rolling. And before you know it, our polls will be world famous.
Yeah. Well, I think the easy vote here is the Broncos simply because they didn't have a first-round pick and they traded out of the second round. So their first pick was in the third round with a D tackle that not very many people had a high grade on. But, I mean, we saw how that draft turned out for a lot of teams. Like players that we were thinking going way later in the draft were going first and second round and even third round. Arnie Garza came in with another question here saying, which draft pick from this year's class will start the most games? Which will be the biggest surprise? Usually the easy answer is our first pick, but considering we have Kirk Cousins, there's a chance that Mendoza doesn't even play at all this year. So I think the easier answer would probably be Stukes. And then the second one, if fully healthy, McCoy. Yeah. I think McCoy's talent is just better than the rest of the guys that we drafted this year. Other than Mendoza, because Mendoza was worth that first pick. But McCoy's whole thing is that bone plug. And from like looking at what other people are saying, it seems like the bone plug thing it's just going to naturally wear down no matter what he does, whether he plays football or not. So he's probably more than likely going to play unless it fails sooner than they're expecting.
Yeah. Now, here's a take, and a lot of people probably, I don't know if anybody's done the research out there, but here's a take on the doctor that made the assessment, Dr. Chawa, or I think is his last name, that's the expert in the bone plug procedure, right? The orthopedic surgeon that's expert in the bone plug procedure is also a contracted ortho surgeon for an NFL team in
Cowboys.
Los Angeles. No, he's with the Chargers.
Oh, I thought the head NFL guy for those types of surgeries was the Cowboys doctor.
That's a different guy. The guy that's the bone plug expert.
Okay.
Chargers ortho surgeon. So what could I'm not saying it is because these guys are licensed physicians, so they have to go on. They have to be balanced. But what's to say a ortho surgeon that's contracted by a specific team goes, hey, I'm an expert in this and I see this, this, and this. And then all of a sudden the team that employs you drafts him later in the draft. I'm just saying, playing devil's advocate here. I'm not saying it's actually happening, but and I know that kind of crap could happen. Call it insider trading, if you will.
Yeah. OB, the question was, which draft pick from this year's class will start the most games, and which will be the biggest surprise?
Start the most games, Stoops. Stoops should start the most games. This is like, if everybody's healthy, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Stoops will start the most. I think the most surprising, Trey Zoon.
Trey Zoon?
Yeah.
I can see Trey Zoon
spot. Because I think Trey Zoon is gonna get a start spot too.
Yeah.
I really like Trey Zoon.
Quare came in saying Dalton Johnson might give a run for the biggest surprise. That's also a possibility. I haven't watched very much tape on Dalton Johnson. I do know that Arizona ran with a lot of 3 safety looks, just because that's who their best players were on defense, were the 3 safeties. Hence why all 3 of them got drafted.
Yeah.
But would you say Dalton Johnson plays more of that free safety role?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think Trey Zoon is going to be a Teron Johnson type of player. So if Teron Johnson, you know what I'm saying, you want to rest him for a little bit, or if he goes down, you know what I'm saying, with a couple quarters with a little small injury or something, he's hurt, he's going to fill that role.
You're saying Stoops would fill that role?
Right, Stoops. Yeah. If you want to run, I think Johnson's going to be in passing downs. Johnson's going to be that deep guy, and Stoops and Dalton Johnson is going to be the deep guy, and then Teron Johnson and Stoops is going to be the star type guy, and Chin is going to be that second linebacker, third linebacker type.
Kind of a hybrid linebacker type set.
Right.
Yeah. Arnie Garza coming in with another banger question. Will any of Tyree Wilson's draft class get a second contract from us? I say yes.
Tucker.
And I think it will be the one player that will drive our chat nuts. I can see Tucker being re-signed, but I can also see Tucker wanting to get a change of scenery just because of how things have been playing out for him. Mm-hmm. Because he hasn't really been looked at when we clearly need the receiver help, and he has something to offer. Yeah. Mayer, I think, is definitely going to move on just because he's, no matter what, going to be the number 2 tight end on our team as long as we have Bowers, where Mayer himself can be a number 1 on another team, and there's plenty of teams out there that need a tight end. I also think as long as Mendoza works out as expected, we're not keeping Kirk Cousins on the roster, which means we need a backup quarterback, and I think they will re-sign AOC to be that backup. But I know a lot of people are high on one of the quarterbacks we brought in for the UDFAs, or he didn't even get a UDFA contract. He got a tryout, and that's that Baylor quarterback.
Taylor Green.
Yeah.
Sawyer Robinson.
Yeah, Sawyer Robinson.
We brought in, he's from Baylor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Baylor. Yeah.
But I think AFC does get that second contract from us.
I wouldn't be surprised on us re-signing AOC as a backup. I think if Tucker has a breakout season here, we pay him what it's going to be worth. Nothing more, nothing less. With Mayer, I agree with you. I think Mayer is going to want to dabble in another program. And a lot of it, believe it or not, he's always competed against Brock Bowers as being the top tight end he's in college. He wants his own love. He doesn't seem like the type of guy that'd be like that. But if he's not, I would expect him. He would want to go to another team and there's gonna be a lot of bidders for him with checkbooks in hand to try and get him. And do we pay him an upper echelon contract when we know we're going to have to turn around and back the Brinks trick up to?
Well, depending on how the season plays out, he could be looking at a contract similar to that Colts receiver that just got paid. If he has a good breakout season this year, Tucker may end up being too rich for Spytek's taste.
Yeah. So poll. I'm going to get to the poll real quick. So in our poll, we have eight people have voted so far in the poll. Want a couple more votes. If need be, here's your Broncos list right here. Who had the worst draft? So we were 100% Broncos. Now somebody's coming in with the Raiders take, which is fine. That's fine. You know, we're not gonna knock you for your opinion. So having said that, do you guys and I've got OB covered up on the screen here, so we're gonna hide the poll for a little bit, but and we've gone over the Denver's draft quite a bit. So is there anything in conclusion you guys want to talk about as far as your overall aspect of our draft? And feel free to start from round 2 on up. We're not touching round 1 no more. Those people. In fact, I have a little message for those that are disservant in round 1. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Darkside. Let's just hang on.
You've been loud all summer, talking like you know, saying he ain't built, saying he too slow. Every take you got, you standing on it now. Yeah, you real confident, I'll give you that for now. Say he ain't the one, say he gon' fold. Say it with your chest, be bold. Don't switch up when it get real clear. Keep that same energy all year. We gon' revisit this.
We are not in the stream. That's just a little prelude, salute.
Oh, dope.
And we're done with that. So round 2 on. What do we got?
That was dope. What was the question?
Round 2.
We're going to talk about round 2 on from here on out.
What about
round 2 on? I mean, they clearly thought the secondary needed the most help, and they wanted to focus on that. I said it before in previous streams that Spytech clearly wanted to make a strength of the team, and the free agency, they went out and made sure they were going to be able to stop the run with the free agents that they brought in between Walker, Dean, and Kwity Paye. Like, they brought in 3 monsters against the run, and we already had Max Crosby. So now in the draft, you go and focus, okay, how do we stop the pass while also helping the pass rush? Well, you load up the defensive backs. You go out there and give the defensive line a little bit of help and time to get to that quarterback. And because how many times has it been where Max is so close to getting a sack where he gets a pressure, and then the team ends up throwing the ball and getting a completion 15 yards down the field for a first down when it was a big third down? Like, by providing defensive back help, you're allowing Max to create or turn some of those pressures into actual sacks. And then hopefully it also helps the rest of the defensive line get to the quarterback. They're clearly trying to make the defensive strength of this team while they figure out the pieces they have on offense.
Okay. I like that. But again, I think 2026, especially the draft, is establishing a baseline, trying to get see what you got, especially in the secondary. Like you said, we drafted 4 guys in the secondary. I just feel like we just establishing a baseline, trying to set a standard. You know what I'm saying? That's what one of my captains used to tell me all the time. Well, tell us, be the standard, set the standard. Don't go below the baseline. Never pivot below the baseline. If you do that, then you're not succeeding. So I feel like Kubiak, and then, you know what I'm saying, Stooks. This is a veteran college guy, known for being a walk-on. Had to work himself to get in the scholarship. Turned into a 3-time captain. Same, I think Dalton Johnson was a captain as well. Kieran Crawford came from a junior college to Auburn, so he had to work his way to D1. Same with Mike Washington. Like, these are just lunch pail guys who's gonna establish the baseline. We're gonna work our ass off, and we're gonna come, like I said, come like Matt Scribe say all the time, come to work every day. come to work every day. So I think that's what it was.
In all the years that Max Crosby's been with us and how he rates himself to perform game in, game out, practice in, practice out, and his expectations, this is kind of like you're talking about, that base, establishing that baseline is just that. We're not going to go into football games and lose because, one, we weren't prepared, and two, we're not giving effort. Because that's what happened last year. We weren't prepared and there was no effort. The talent was there. The talent was there to compete. But there was no effort and there was no preparation. And that's on the coaches and the players not buying into the coaching. So now we address that with a different set of coaches that, to me, have a little bit more gumption, a little bit more to shoot for in their career to turn this franchise around. And so we as Raider fans, we can only hope for the best and expect nothing less than what we already have. Which sucks. I don't want to keep doing this over and over and over and over and over again. But at some point, it's going to hit. And my optimism is just that. It has to hit. And what I've seen so far looks like it could hit and make us relevant.
Yeah. And getting to the chat, Severe was saying Stooks and Mike Washington Jr. biggest surprise. He's saying 700 yards from Mike Washington and 1,100 from Ashton Genty. Which, if that's purely from the run game, that would be amazing because that's night and day compared to last year. Because that means we're actually getting production from two running backs.
And that changes the trajectory of our team.
Yeah, and definitely think Mike Washington is going to get the carries because, like we said earlier in the podcast, we think Ashton Genty is definitely the better football player, but Mike Washington fits the scheme better. This outside zone run scheme just fits his athleticism and speed. He needs to work on his ball carrying skills, make sure he doesn't put that ball on the turf. But other than that, he's got that speed to just break away in this outside zone scheme. Arnie Garza saying Spytek is a great football mind on both sides of the ball. He set up the tank for not spending much money on free agents, trading for Geno, hiring Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll equal the tank for first pick. So from my understanding, the Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll hires were not Spytek. Seems almost like Pete Carroll was the Mark Davis hire and Chip Kelly was the Tom Brady hire. And then Geno Smith was the Pete Carroll trade that Spytek said okay to get the quarterback his head coach wants. So I don't put any of those moves on Spytek unless you're saying Spytek should have put his foot in the ground and said no and got a different quarterback.
Yeah. It's hard to do as a first-time GM, though, going against a Hall of Fame head coach who's 73 years old.
who won a Super Bowl and has been to others.
Who was, was handpicked by the owner.
Yeah. Jeff saying he loves the Washington pick. Yeah. That's why I don't think Washington's actually a surprise because he was drafted to be that number 2 to Genty.
And he was a great value in the 4th round with his talent.
Yeah. And Severe is saying the same thing that we were saying. Just fits that scheme perfectly as a one-cut guy. It's really a no-brainer. It's more of Washington needs to polish up his skills and hold on to the ball better. And he'll be a great number 2. And then possibly, like other people are saying, maybe he ends up taking over for Genty just because the perfect scheme fit. Queric answering the question from earlier, saying I would offer Mayer. Mayer probably looking at a Kuntz treatment deal wise, and he should understand. Yeah, he's had multiple injuries, and then he also had the one season. I think it was during AP's head coaching year where he missed half the season or so because of personal matters. Yeah, and hey, the personal matters. I'm not going to question him on it. He thought that's what he needed to do, and he needs to do it. But now he's back in football, and his play on the field needs to show that he needs a bigger contract, or he may get that Kuntz treatment, like Queric is saying here. Bueno calling out Arnie, as Bueno does. Bueno likes stirring the shit. And then Jeff's saying you think he takes carries from Genty. He sure does. I think we all think that, but mainly Kubiak said that before we even drafted a running back, that he wants multiple running backs to touch the ball. It's a long season for any one running back in the NFL to carry like they used to back in the day. Arnie Garza saying grades are just opinions on what can happen. I want 4 starters in year 3 to get a draft. I mean, that's ultimately what the real grades for drafting is, but you still have your instant opinions on stuff. Like, I know a lot of Raider fans were extremely disappointed in the draft as soon as the picks were made after the first round. But then after sleeping on it and going back and like thinking about the picks, like, okay, actually, no, they weren't as bad as we were thinking instantly. I know I was one that, like, why are we picking Stukes there after we traded back when we could have drafted McDonald? I know a lot of Raider fans really wanted McDonald. That was kind of the easy name that Raider Nation picked out. I didn't think we were going to go D-tackle. Just had a feeling, mainly because of how much D-tackles we already have on the roster. Yes, none of them are absolute standouts, but they're all legitimate NFL players. I was leaning towards defensive backs. I know the guy I really wanted was Chris Johnson, who was taken in the first round. What was your guys' instant reactions to that second round pick that we had?
I was shocked. Not gonna lie to you, I was shocked.
I was same thing. I was shocked and upset, and I thought, here we go again. This is just a repeat from last year's draft, and but we stayed at 38. We took Stukes. I still thought Stukes was more of a 48 to 55 kind of guy, but if you guys watched the draft, there was a lot of teams that did the same thing. They had a guy that they wanted, they went up and got him.
Yeah.
Or they had him rated higher than what other teams did. And one of the guys in this draft, a defensive tackle that went higher than I thought he was going to, and I really like the guy. I think he's going to be a phenomenal NFL player, and that's Chris McClellan from Missouri. I had him about 115 to 125-ish in the draft. He went 77.
Yeah.
I was like, when he went 77, I go, crap. Everybody's doing it. It's not just us. It's everybody's doing this. And then when everybody else starts doing it, what happens? Then you got to do it too. And otherwise, if you sit there and wait for somebody to come to you, he's not coming to you. Somebody's going to jump up and get him. And this whole draft was such a basic draft as far as overall talent from 1 to 250 that, some people are like, oh, you reached. I'm like, well, yeah, on paper it might look like he might reach, but he's a good player and he's going to fill a need. So let's move on.
Yeah, and going into the draft, it was starting to be consistently said that this was the draft to find starters. So is it really a reach for you to go pick a player who's going to be a starter on your team? I would argue no, especially if you're thinking that this draft wasn't completely loaded with star talent.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, I really like Kalen Rutledge, but I thought he was going to be a third-round guard, and he ended up going in the first round.
Yeah,
that shocked me.
Great on him. I really like the player. I had another guard that I liked more, but I'm never going to knock a team going out and targeting the linemen that they want to improve their team.
And I think in this draft, there's 2 position groups that were targeted, and that was the line and secondary, and everybody played those. Because really, in all honesty, with Darkside, I'm going to ask you this. There was no Calvin Johnson in this draft. There was no absolute in this draft coming out. Period. Full stop. So where you drafted was basically you were going to have to go my priority position of need with the talent that is there. I got to take them. So what do you say, Darkside? I mean, do you see anything different?
No, I agree 100%. There wasn't a Cam Newton, there wasn't a Myles Garrett, there wasn't that superstar freak athlete talent, like uber talented type of guy in the draft. Like, it was a lot of guys that just came on this past year. So yeah, I agree with you. But there was a lot of like I said, lunch pail type guys you can trust, right? Like, you can trust a trading Stoops, right? Been there 24 years old, 6-year senior, 3-time captain. You can trust a guy like that. 3-time captain in Arizona with three safeties on the field. Like, you can trust a guy like that. Play multiple positions. Trey Zoom, play all 5 positions. You can trust a guy like that. 3-year starter again. I think he won. He was the best pass pro guy last year. You can trust a guy like that.
Yep.
Fernando Mendoza, same thing. You can trust a guy like that. They just got good overall guys. But so yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I'm kind of on the fence, like with Severe on this, is I may end up putting too much value in the age of a player coming out in college. I didn't realize when we did draft Stoots that he was that old. I believe he's 25.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys care how old a player is coming out of college?
Well, based on previous draft experiences, we're only I mean, how many draft picks do we have that we drafted 5 years ago? You know what I mean? So if we're going to draft a guy that's 25 years old, we already know we're going to get maybe 6-7 years out of him. If he gets a second contract, that'd be great. That'll be great. And 70 to have a solid defensive back for 6-7 years. And when I say solid, somebody that's going to compete for Pro Bowls, right? He might compete. I'm not saying he is, but there's a possibility his talent level rises to that level that he might be competing for Pro Bowls, down the road. So 6-7 years, that's fine. Because I mean, some of our legends that we hold to the altar, we only got 5, 6, 7 years out of. So to be 25, coming in at 25, the good thing about it is that we shouldn't. There's no wait and develop him. He's too old to wait and develop.
Yeah,
He's got to go. He got to hit the ground running.
I'm gonna be honest. I knocked him during the pre-draft process because you have a Dylan Thieneman and you got Caleb Downs, who are 20 and 21 respectively.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Traden Stoops, who's, like you said, is going to be 25 this year.
Yep.
And then I think Emmanuel McNeil Warren, and I think Bud Clark was I think he's 23. But to have a guy that's 25, you better come in and you better be a starter. Like, you better know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, where to do it. You know what I'm saying? You better know all these things day one.
Yeah. Now, I'm with Severe on hating the older players. Like, I knock them because of it, just like you do, OB. But again, like the point you were making is because he is older, he better come in and make a statement. Because if he's not earning a spot on the roster as an older player, then it pretty much feels like a wasted pick.
Yep. And I'm in that line. But Arnie's coming in, dude. Arnie, your keyboard's gonna catch the house on fire, my friend.
I'm tired of potential, want proper development and playing talent for all rookies, even UDFA second-year players.
Yeah.
I will say this, all rookies are potential. You're drafting them all off of potential. I mean, yes, they have production in college, but how many times have we seen first-round players that had the production in college bust in the NFL? Ultimately,
really good college players.
Ultimately, the NFL draft is a crapshoot, and you're drafting based off of potential because you're hoping a player can meet a certain level because of how they performed in college or how athletic they are or how much they bench press. Like, it's all potential. They can all potentially be great players. But
for you young guys out there, Al Davis always said, you don't draft the player for what they did in college. You draft the player for what you think they could do in the pros.
Yeah. But the second part of what Arnie was saying was want proper development and playing talent for all rookies. That to me, that's the biggest part right there is the development. And it goes back to one of the press conferences Kubiak had where he wants teachers. He wants his coaching staff to be full of teachers. So they want to invest their time into the players and develop them properly and make sure that they can be successful NFL players.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna spill through this. We're coming up on 2 hours and 20 minutes on the show. It's been a great show, guys. Love every bit of it. You guys, honestly, hey, Claire, you've been fired tonight. Always wondered what you thought of Draft Weekend Severe. If you only had a channel to talk to, T Severe, man. If you ever want, man, hit me up in Instagram or send me a message. If you'd want to come on, we'll be more than happy to accommodate you. Arnie Garza still, other than Mendoza, who are we most excited to see in preseason. This is going to be a one-name answer. We're not going to discuss it. Hazik Mesa from Cal. You, Darkside.
Malik Benson.
Okay.
McCoy from Oregon State.
Ooh.
I'm an Oregon State fan, so I want to throw that part in.
T Severe coming in. We don't have those draftees because we drafted so poorly. He'll be looking 30. Yeah, once he gets to 30, that second contract is going to be huge as far as the dynamics of it, the money, and hopefully he plays to a contract that we got to pay him. You know, even a 30-year-old safety. I mean, that's not bad. You know, that's not bad. 33, 34, 35-year-old safeties. It just sucks he waited so long to get to the league, but he can still have a good 6, 7, 8-year career at his age range. Raiders get a C grade if they get 4 starters in 3 years. It's a draft class.
Well, couldn't that be argued for every single team?
Yep.
I mean, how many drafts do you think are actually going to produce like 3 starters for this year alone?
Raider Rebel coming in. Salute to you, my guy. Thanks for coming in. We don't need Stooks for a long time. We just need him for a good time. Love that one. With the experience, don't hurt a lot with these guys coming out of college or older. And that's what we were just talking about. You know, coming in at 25 years of age, we're not looking to develop him. He needs to hit the ground running. He needs to be the guy when he suits up for us. Raider Jeff probably has some just bench press 487 pounds the other day. Yeah, but I don't think we're going to suit him up anytime soon. Man, it's so much a turnover in the NFL. We just watched the Chiefs get rid of their secondary, just play good now, Stooks. Yeah. I mean, they drafted Mansour Lane, but is that going to be enough for him? Because they're going to be a little thin on the backside. Stooks is a baller, good for at least 4 years. I'd say 6 to 8 would be a good range for him based on his age. Arnie Garza, again, coming in with the question, what is more important, talent or scheme fit on offense or defense? Darkside.
Talent.
Duncan?
Yeah, talent.
I'm going to agree with you on that. Talent is the most important when you're drafting. You can always adjust your scheme to the talent. Let's see. Let's put Deuce Gruden at nose tackle and Lockie Tassi, our nose tackle of the future. The only thing with Lockie Tassi, he's got almost hardly any football experience, total football experience. The good thing about a zero technique is it's really only 3 concepts you got to worry about. So you don't have to overthink it. So
well, the problem with Lockie Tassi is 99% of his football experience comes under Pete Carroll. And more than half of that is on the offensive side of the ball, where he's learning how to play offense and block. And now they flip-flop him again. And I know a lot of people want to push Lockie Tassi going to the offensive side of the ball last year onto Pete Carroll and his son Brennan. But our current defensive coordinator, last year's D-line coach, was the guy who came up and pushed him to the offensive side of the ball.
Right.
So now them flip-flopping him like this, like it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. What say you, Darkside? Anything?
I mean, I want to see what he can do at nose tackle. Mm-hmm. I watch his rugby highlights, and the boy's fast. He's athletic. You put that guy in front of a what's his name, Andre James. He's gonna kill that guy.
No, unfortunately, Andre James isn't the Chargers center anymore.
Oh man!
Even the one they got now, Tyler Biadasz, I'm not a fan of him either.
Well, it's something. Diaz is the last part. I have a hard time saying his name too, and I'm usually pretty good with last names, but his name I hack too. But hey, 2 hours and almost 2.5 hours into this show, I'm Raiders First Downs. This is my guy Donuts Duncan. OB Darkside down at the bottom, hanging out with us today on a Sunday afternoon.
It's Sunday night here. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah. I just want to tell you, Darkside, just so you know, I'm gonna bug the piss out of you in the next 6 months. Just so you know.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready.
So I'm gonna bug the piss out of you.
I remember what I was gonna ask.
Yes, sir.
I got a bad memory. But did y'all talk about the rookie minicamp?
Not really. We kind of touched on it a little bit. I did in my monologue, and this is my take on it. This is rookie minicamp, and OTAs are practices for practice. And a lot of people, are going, oh, look at that throw. Oh, it's practice. But this is practice for practice, right? And so a lot of people, you got to kind of understand, like pro days. Pro days are glorified pregame warm-ups. Everything they do in pro days is what you'll see when NFL teams take the field for pregame warm-ups. That's what you're going to see. And then pregame warm-ups are going to have a little bit more intensity because, A, there's fans coming into the stadium. B, they got a brand new uniform on. They're looking fresh. They want to get out there and they want to got a little juice flowing. The music's bumping a little bit. You got alumni on the sideline that are watching you warm up and things like that. So it's a little bit different. I would say pregame warm-ups is probably more important than pro day. And to be quite honest with you, the best part of pro days to me are the one-on-one interactions. And are they able to follow directions? Because that's important. OTAs, to me, is just practice for practice. Duncan?
I agree with the lines. What you're saying is basically the rookie mini camps are to prepare the rookies for the actual camp so they're not falling behind the veterans. Mm-hmm. This is how we practice, the speed. When the vets come in, they're going to pick it up and try to get more out of you guys. So you need to be prepared. And if you can't keep up, see you bye. Pack your stuff up and go.
Yep.
Okay. So that was number one. Number two, what do y'all think about the earning the shield?
I'll let you go, Duncan. I got a couple of ways I go about that.
I don't really have any strong opinion on it because I see both sides of like it's kind of cheesy. Like I can see you get more out of like younger players because of it, but at the same time, I think this is a good way for Kubiak to weed out the players that are going to truly buy into what they're trying to coach. Because if a player keeps doing what they're doing, well, guess what? That got us 3 wins last year. Like, if you're not going to buy into the system, we have no use for you. I don't care if you're Max Crosby, Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers. Like, if you're not going to be able to buy in the system, how much are you really going to help this team win?
Yeah. So this is my agree take with Kubiak on this. Is a lot of times these rookies will come in and new veterans and people that are new to the team that weren't here before, and even some of the old guys that were on our team in the past, is sometimes during the process they're infatuated with the shield in and of itself. Because let's face it, when you put a Raider uniform on, you look bitching, right? So if you knock some of that bitching out and say, hey, we're going to go practice, we're going to get ready to play football and not get ready to look at ourselves in the freaking mirror, this is why we're going to do this. I get that. But the concept in and of itself that's derived from high school. Because when we were in high school, our coach used to take our decals off the helmet. If we lost on Friday night, we had to take our decals off the helmet. We didn't get our decals back. We actually had to play a game without decals because he was so pissed off at us. And see, our nickname was Dogs, D-A-W-G-S. I know Jeff just loves that name. Our mascot was the Bulldog, but we went by Dogs. It was D-A-W-G-S on our helmets. And whenever the coach said that. So that's hidey-ho high school bullshit as far as I'm concerned from the concept. But here's the pushback on that. A lot of freaking teams don't put their decals on their helmets during OTAs and minicamp. And has nothing to do with you got to earn it or anything. They just don't do that. I've seen Baltimore Ravens and other teams, and they just don't put the decals on the helmets for preseason because when the OTAs are done, they turn their helmets back in. They have to be readjusted, refitted with new gear inside and outside the helmet. They get their fit adjustments again. And then you got guys that ain't even going to be on the team, so you're going to take their helmet and throw it in a bin anyways. So why put a decal on the son of a bitch if you ain't even nobody's going to wear that helmet when the season starts, when training camp starts?
Yeah.
So to me, it's twofold. It's cheesy the way it's being pronounced and presented. It's hidey-ho high school bullshit. But from a long range standpoint, it doesn't matter. Other teams do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. What was your take on it, OB?
I mean, We did the same thing in college. Like you said, it's high school, college type stuff. We had to earn it. So I feel like Kubiak, he came from Kansas. I feel like he just wants to do his own thing. He wants to bring his not mindset, but bring his own little
Quirks.
So yeah, he wants to bring his own thing and be known for something. I mean, I don't have a problem with it as long as you're consistent. That's the only thing. Yeah. You just got to be consistent.
Just keep being honest, and the players are going to buy into you. That's the whole thing. Real quick, as we're wrapping it up here, Severe saying, I'd love to hop on a show with you guys one day, but you already know I'm a villain. Your chat might revolt. I mean, that's part of what our show is. Like, we want to bring on guests, and it's okay if we disagree on stuff. Like, it stokes the fire of discussion and debate and kind of makes a better show, honestly. Like, there's only so much, like, 3 guys going around agreeing on everything you can take, right?
Yeah. And you know what? When it comes down to us being Raider Nation and Raider fans and fellow Raider fans, it doesn't matter what you say to me or how you say it about me. I don't care. I'm still going to view you as the same person. I'm never going to look down on you because that's not what we're about. Okay. As long as we're having a conversation, it's best we have a conversation than to remain silent. And nobody say anything. That's when shit gets bad.
Yeah.
When nobody is talking, that's when it's bad. So if you got takes, if your take doesn't agree with my take doesn't agree with your take, that's fine. Let's have a conversation about it, because there's some people out there that have takes that I don't agree with, but I take part of it and I go, it makes sense. But yet at the same time, I'm not gonna go twofold and agree with you, but I'm gonna take parts of it and say you're right to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like hearing other people's point of view.
Plus, another thing is, like, the disagreement sometimes comes from a misunderstanding of the person's actual point on what they mean.
Exactly.
Like, you can be hearing what they're saying differently when what they're meaning. Like,
that happened to me. That happened to me the other day with a well-known YouTuber. We were in a conference call, and what I said was completely taken out of context. He understood it a certain way, started to challenge me, and then asked me, well, how old are you? Well, fuck, I'm older than you, son. It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. This is why I believe this, and I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense, which is fine. Maybe later on it'll make sense. But to make it a personal quandary, that's unfair. We don't do that. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. But closing question for you guys. Out of the UDFAs, not named Rogan Hemby, who are you looking forward most to that you think may make the 53-man roster? I personally like Chase Roberts, the receiver from BYU.
Mm-mm. Go watch that kid, the BYU left tackle, number 71, Isaiah Tate, or whatever his name is, Tate. I was like, who the hell is that guy that we drafted? So I went, and I haven't watched full tape on him or an actual game, watch a whole game. I just kind of got glimpses of he's a UDFA. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on. But I watched his highlight reel against Texas Tech. Texas Tech
is legit.
David Bailey, number 31, and I was like, oh, that was a good rep. That was a real good rep. Holy shit. And he was a UDFA. And I was like, all right. So I'm gonna do more deep diving into him just to see. But usually a left tackle, if he falls to UDFA, there's other issues. It's not just what, you know what I mean? There's probably more tape out there that, okay, he had 5 or 6 good reps against the number 1 pick in the draft, but there's probably about 7 or 8 reps where he just got his ass handed to him. And if that's the case, it's like, you're a UDFA. But
I'm going to give 2. I'm going to give 2. Okay. Yeah. Matt Lauder, the tight end from Boise State, and Xavier Sorey Jr., the linebacker.
Okay. I mean, we do need linebacker depth. I mean,
you watch Sorey
running a base 3-4 and we start losing linebackers. That's a big hole. What were you saying, Jason?
So we cut Snowden yesterday. We picked that kid up in the as a free agent, UDFA. Arkansas sucked as a team as whole, so their whole team didn't get evaluated properly throughout the draft process. You go watch him. his fundamental edge rush concepts and how he beats blocks and gets to the quarterback, pretty fucking impressive.
He's very violent. He's a violent guy.
Yeah. Any closing statements, OB?
Nah, man, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. I ain't been on it's been 2 months?
Yeah,
I feel like it's been 2 months at least.
That's okay.
Yeah,
just creates the build up to get the chats going. You're more than welcome anytime to come on.
Yep.
Love having you on.
And if you have something, OB, if you have something that you want that is just gnawing at you, you know how to get a hold of me, man. We'll make it happen.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about it. I will help. I will do whatever it takes to help you, and we'll get it going. We'll get your channel fired up. Maybe get some followers with you. Those of you guys that are in here, go look up Darkside OB_OB. There it is right there. Raider Jeff was kind enough to bring it in. And
I appreciate that.
Tell us a little bit about what's your credentials so that those in the YouTube world can understand a little bit.
Credentials, football credentials, played high school football, played college football at a D2 college in Tennessee. Won't name it because I don't want you looking me up. But I played at a college in Tennessee. I coach a little bit too, middle school, high school. So that's pretty much it. I was in the Army.
What's your expertise in football?
Defense. If you ever hear me talking, I'm going to be biased toward the defense side of the ball. Every time.
You were the guy in the Discord always saying we need to get a defensive head coach.
Exactly. And I think was your number one. Mentor was my number one. Shula was my number two. And I 100% know that it was biased towards Clint Kubiak. I knew Clint Kubiak was a great offensive mind. I knew who his daddy was. I knew all that stuff. But I love defense. Like I'm all about that defensive mindset that fuck you up type. Excuse my language. I just like that.
Oh, also Darkside, on your channel, you need to make sure you check that box where it's not meant for children. So that way we can
push it out.
Yeah. Well, also so we can ring that bell on your channel. I cannot your channel will not tell me when you're going live or you post a video because you have that box checked on your channel.
Oh, I thought I unchecked it.
Make it public. We'll go through it. Well, we could do a YouTube tutorial with you later on. There's little quirks if you do on your YouTube studio and then StreamYard that will benefit to where everybody can start populating. Yeah. You will reach out to people that you never knew you were going to reach out to. But I'm sold on Rorschach. I'm sold on Bueno. Those are my guys. But Darkside, who's your favorite chatter of the night?
I'm gonna have to say Queric because he said who the Army guy.
A little biasness there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm biased. I like who I like.
Yeah, Queric, thanks for coming in, man. Obviously, your takes have been awesome, phenomenal. Welcome in here at any given time. Duncan, who do you got?
I don't like giving it to back-to-back people, so this time I'm gonna go with shoot. I lost the name. I lost the chat. I started. I'm gonna go Money Chuck.
My guy. Arnie, I love you, brother. You were fire tonight. I'm going Arnie Garza again. I don't care if it's back to back.
That's fine.
I'm going Arnie Garza. Salute to Arnie Garza, man. My favorite chatter of the night. And but all you other guys that were out there, nobody had bad takes tonight. Nobody.
It was great questions.
Except for 401 Raider Jeff. But he that's just because it's him. It's not because
I thought Jeff's takes were fired today because I'm all aboard that Mike Washington hype train.
Oh, me too. Well, you heard me last Sunday night after the draft. What did I say? And I put that as soon as I put that short out, man, it hit the algorithm, and people are like, "What?" And then I'm getting pushed because there's a lot of people that are Derek Carr and Genty this and Genty could do no wrong. And I think a lot of people misconceive is I'm not saying that Mike Washington is going to be our feature back. What I'm telling you is there is going to be games he's going to be RB1.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it because if he gets hot, that's it. You let him cook.
Like my wife predicted, it was going to be 20 minutes and not 10. So with that, I think we out. You want to hit the end stream?
I got it, man. Thank you guys. And we will be back next Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific time during the off season. This is our day of choice. Salute to all Raider fans. Salute
Have a great week.
Cold open, counted out. Yeah, we heard the talk. Cold nights and long losses. Still we walk. Scoreboard hurt, but the heart stayed real. Still wear the black, still flash the shield. From Oakland roots to Vegas dust, pain in the season, but we still trust. They say it's over, I say move on, but